Hello? Hello. Quickest intro in the history of intros. Happy Monday, everybody, and you're very welcome aboard. Tonight we have our 5th lesson of our IFR ATC series, and tonight is going to be a full flight. We're going to be departing Dublin, Echo India Delta Whiskey, and we're going to be flying down to Shannon, Echo India November, right? And what's cool about this now, lads, right? We have full ATC coverage. We have ground and tower for Dublin. We have Shannon Control for the middle bit, and then we have Shannon Tower for the arrivals. It's going to be a fairly complex, orchestrated madness of an event, but I'm looking forward to it. So how was your weekend? Did you have a nice weekend, right? Here, Monday came very fast, didn't it? I mean, there we were, not minding anyone or anything, and today happened. Although there is a solar eclipse, which seems to be a big deal for some people, but in Ireland, sure, every day is an eclipse. The sky completely eclipsed by the clouds, you see. It's raining sideways here, but sure, listen, we'll worry about that a little bit later. Do you know what I mean? So tonight, our IFR ATC course continues, designed to encourage pilots to take the next step to expand their flight sim experience. The focus here is on ATC communication, its phraseology and its procedures. In our 5th lesson, we'll fly from Dublin to Shannon with active ATC, as I said, and the frequencies are all set up inside our Discord server. The lesson will be broken down into 4 parts. We're going to have a look at the flight planning, for which we have a custom set weather preset to be used tonight. I'll show you how to do that, and do be sure to check out the NOTAM over on the website as well. Our flight plans are to be filed via the TTM website. Again, I'll show you how to do all of that. And then the flight itself. Well, following ATC instructions, we have to maintain our situational awareness, keeping away from other aircraft. We need to communicate effectively with ATC and experience changing to multiple frequencies. Not only that, but we get to experience a brand new airport. For this course, tonight is the first time we're all departing out of Dublin. Should be great crack. Right. For the pilots flying, we've broken everything up into 2 groups. So we have the airliners and, most jets, fast-moving aircraft. Well, they're going to be in Group A. And they should all be now rambling into the ATC lounge, voice channel on our Discord, and be spawned into Dublin on the North Europe server. Then, in roughly an hour's time, Group B, which will facilitate twin-engined, any of the kind of general aviation aircraft, the slightly slower moving traffic. Well, you guys are going to be Group B. Again, you can spawn into Dublin on the North Europe server and aim for about kind of 9 o'clock or 2000 Zulu time. At the end of our flight, we'll do a full debrief to see how everyone got on. And I suppose just to tell you a little bit about what we're doing tonight and the coverage that we're going to have. It's open to PC and Xbox pilots. And, well, to give you kind of like a running commentary, myself and Gibbo did this flight last week. That was our demonstration video. It showed us departing out of Dublin, flying all the way down to Shannon, and then, thankfully, we landed. We couldn't get off at Alpha, though. Right? So I'll be going through all the bits and bobs explaining what we're going to do. We're going to get a clearance. We're going to get our taxi instruction. Then we're going to be handed to the tower controller, and then the tower is going to give us our departure clearance, takeoff clearance, and then you'll be contacting Shannon Control. Just like any kind of center or control operator, well, they look after the airspace, usually outside of the immediate kind of tower approach area, and it's up to a certain altitude as well. Then, as we're meandering our way towards Shannon, expect then to be handed over to the Shannon Tower Controller when you are established on the instrument landing system for runway 06. But all will be revealed here now in a moment. So a quick hello and welcome everybody in. You're brilliant to see everyone. Do you know, Englewood is here. It's good to see you. Spitfire RAF 100. You're very welcome aboard. Toto's in the house. Kanzui is here. Gibbo. Asha, how are you, Gibbo? Super Ty is here, but rambling out, looking at the eclipse. Wear some sunglasses or something. Viper Strike is in the house. Good to see you. Ranbog Mord is here. Good to see you, man. Dougal McTavish, the chairman, has rambled in. Good to see you. Calum, welcome aboard. Sticky Rice, welcome in, man. Shuffle Shoes, shuffles in. AJH, man. Hope all is well. Voicey, good to see you, man. Aviation Lover Ollie, good to see you, man. Will you be doing a review of the Flight Effects Honda Jet? More reviews coming soon. Corn Wolf, welcome in. Hemmingbird, she says, there was upset when the sun got shadowed banned, but the moon said it would cover. The sun was delighted. Right? Today is looking up. It is, Hemmingbird. It's great to see you. You're very welcome back. Josh is in the house. Hey, Josh. What's happening, man? Now, let me see. Epiloto, is it? Hang on now. Epiloto. I did it. I did all right. The eclipse is happening now, but it's cloudy. Right? Do you know what I mean? It is terribly cloudy. Shocking cloudy. But, we don't see things like that in Ireland. We're not lucky enough. We've terrible weather. Do you know what I mean? But we'll get over 6 minutes and Murph is on. Epic fool, right? It's a first. Don't get used to it at all. Now let me see. Navnak, welcome in. Quaggy, bonjour. Nighthawk, Southern Ontario covered in cloud. So it looks like the eclipse will not be seen. NASA would be your best source. Yes, indeed. The television, it's safer and it's, indoors. We don't need to worry about outdoors. P.S. Morandai, you're very welcome in. Hello there. Hope all is well. Old veteran Scott, welcome aboard. Happy Monday. Quaggy, yikes, right? Do you know what I mean? Bonjour, he says. Black Ice Gabe, we have a Black Ice Gabe. He says, how are you, Murph and crew? Unable to participate. As you quite right stated last week, I'm flat out with work, so not at home. Well, have a great day, week, couple of months at work, and we'll see you soon, man. Cy120 is in the house. Zybok Doc calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. I hope you're keeping well. Kozaki Flyers here. He says, bless you, Murph, for tackling this chaos. All right. We've seen nothing yet. It'll be grand, right? Sterling, good day, man. Hope all is well. Soaring AJ has rambled into the chat. Kaharia, the lovely Kaharia. She says, good evening, lurking in the background. It's great to see you. Muse Fan is here. How he is his mad jokes, he says, in a proud and happy voice. It's great to see you, Muse. Foreign Axis here. It's good to see you. Nighthawk says the Indianapolis 500 Speedway is filled with people for the eclipse. Jesus, you serious? Everyone's looking up. Do you know? Things are looking up. Oh, wait. Yes. Yeah, things are looking up. I see what Hemmingbird did now. Energizer. Who made it Monday again? I thought we just had Friday. It's ridiculous. It's like ridiculous. Phoenix loaded in with landing gear bug. Great start, says Muse. Great start, Muse. Brilliant. We might be having it in Devon as we speak. Or it might be, nighttime. Yeah, 100%. Kozaki Flyer says, good viz on the eclipse from my home. Nice. EL737 is in the house. You're very welcome in, man. Haven't seen you in ages. Hope you're well. Where's my button? Now, where am I at? I'm over here. Tarmo 10K, good to see you. Hope all is well. Neil Pilot, you're very welcome aboard. So welcome in, everyone. And we've people on YouTube as well. Neil Emerson. Hello, Neil. Good to see you. And who else? Mr. Anderson. You're very welcome aboard. Hope all is well there as well, lads. So yeah, it's a quick intro, only because, we have a lot of flying to do tonight. Last week, as I said, was a full demonstration of what to do. Tonight, you guys get to give it a shot. Now, my advice to you, don't get too hung up on saying it word for word. Right? Hello there. Don't let that throw you off. There is a script. It's all on their document, so you can follow along and figure out what it is you need to say, right? But don't worry too much on the word for word part. What I would advise is put a lot of concentration and effort, if you can, into reading back what the controllers are asking you to do. So, if a controller says something, well, you got to read it back to them. The reason why you read it back, well, it lets them know you've understood it. All right. So that is the plan. And let's see what happens here now in a second, right? Eclipse is 50%. Jesus. Would it be too cruel to give Murph a localized eclipse or two during tonight's stream? A localized eclipse? Oh, wait. I know you have, right? Do you remember that? What was the name of it? Remember the ad? Half moon, full moon, total eclipse. Jaffa cakes. Do you remember that? Ah, brilliant. They were the days, I have no puns or jokes to eclipse the power of nature. Darn it. He's on fire already. Right, so let's jump straight into it, right? Pastor, how is blood moon, so to say. As I turn my microphone. And, yes, lads, as I said, it's a relatively busy one tonight, but we're all in good hands. There are 4 controllers controlling us this evening. How weird and wonderful is that, right? So, Let's just kind of have an hour look to see what's going to happen. Hayden, you're very welcome aboard, Hayden. Good to see you, man. And now, as I'm getting things set up here, I just need to press some buttons. Dish, dish, dish. Right. So we have buttons starting to work here now. So we're going to start off at the very beginning. It's always a good place to start. So now, let me see this. Dish. So here we are. the first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is when you go over to the website, tutormurphy.com, ramble over to the IFR ATC series. It's under the Learn ATC. And then you ramble into the IFR ATC series. And in here, you'll see then you have a thumbnail and it says NOTAMs. So we need to check out the NOTAMs for this evening. So NOTAM for lesson number 5, that's tonight. Effective date is today. Duration is a day. And the overview says tonight's lesson will feature 2 groups. The first group, Group A, will include airliners and jets. And the second group is going to be Group B, which is for general aviation. So the instructions for Group A, clear as mud, ramble into Dublin on the North Europe server at 1900. And then Group B, ramble into Dublin on the North Europe server at 2000 Zulu. Weather, fixed meters are in place for this lesson. You can jump into the ATIS voice channels. They're over by yonder. We can have a listen if you want. So if you were to dive into any of the ATIS channels on our Discord, so if you jump into Dublin.
350 at 4 knots. Visibility 10 or more kilometers. Few clouds at 3000. Temperature 12 dew point 5. QNH 1014 hectopascals. Landing and departing runway 28 left. Transition level flight level 60.
So you have your information in that for our ATIS. Now, you need to set up that weather in the sim. I'm going to show you how to do that here now shortly. And, well, that's pretty much the NOTAM required for this evening. All right. So we need to make sure that we have the weather settings put into the sim. Otherwise, things might get a little bit hairy. But I'll show you how to do all that now in a moment. Next up, we'll ramble down to the ground school document. And this has been updated for tonight's lesson. So we're on 7.5 as it loads in. So here's 7.5. And we'll go down here to lesson number 5. And this is how everything's going to shape up. So let's have a zoom in here. So it says our 5th lesson will see us take a flight from Dublin to Shannon. That's what we're doing tonight. And it's broken down into 4 parts. So again, we'll be talking about planning our flight, filing it, the flight itself, and then we'll also cover a review, right? So in this section, we can use Navigraph and SkyVector and some charts to plan the location and the route. We can check out SimAware for traffic and ATC coverage. Not necessarily important tonight. It's just ourselves flying, but we do have our own scopes up and running. And then we need to file our flight plan using the website, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Part 3 is going to be the flight. This is where we focus on, well, flying, but more importantly, the ATC communication. That's what we're going to be doing. So it's broken down into all the individual pieces. Stage 1, obtaining the ATIS. We get the ATIS from our Discord voice channels. You'll see them over on Discord. If I ramble them in over here. This is our Discord. In our Discord, there are many channels, many places, but you can just click on the top of them and then ramble down to where it has ATC course. And in here, then you can see you have the IFR course. This is all relevant for tonight. And I've also posted the flight plan for this evening. It's just here on the bottom. Now, if you're not able to grab it, I'll pop it into the chat there so everybody has it, right? That is the flight plan. We're all using the gadget. Quaggy says, the document isn't clickable for me. You have to scroll down through all the pages. You poor old devil. Try control and click. That should do it. Now, here's all our voice channels. As you keep scrolling down, you'll see everyone sitting in the ATC lounge area. All right. So you'll see Dublin Ground, Dublin Tower. You'll see Shannon Control. And all you need to do to jump into one of these channels, well, just click on them. And then you'll hear things.
Few clouds at 3000. Temperature 12.
So you're only going to be in these channels when needed. So for example, when you're talking to Dublin Ground, well, make sure you're in Dublin Ground's channel. And you'll see the frequency there as well. That's just for reference. So Dublin Ground 121.8, Dublin Tower 118.6, Shannon Control we're using 131.150. Then we have Shannon Tower 118.7, and then we have our ATIS channels here as well. We shouldn't need Unicom or anything else this evening. So that's where all our voice channels are, and it's important we use them. All right. That's what we need to do there. So, now, where's this now? Oh, yeah, very, very, very good point. So Gibble's just mentioned to me there now as well. He just said, look, a good tip for folks as well. If you reduce those who are flying, the pilots flying tonight, when you're on Discord in a Discord voice channel, bring down the volume of the stream. right? Bring down the volume of the stream, because otherwise you'd be listening to me when you should be listening to a controller, if that makes sense. All right. So after we get all our weather information, we contact ATC, and there is a script here. So I exaggerate this. We start off with one additional, as in Dublin Ground, Firefly 235, or whatever your call sign is. And ATC will jump back on, addressing you by your call sign, who they are, and then they'll say, pass your message. This is just an additional step. It's just to confirm we have everything working. That's all. So then you're going to request your clearance. And we've covered this already. Your clearance, remember craft. So clearance, route, altitude, frequency, transponder, right? Craft. So it'll be something like information, whatever it is, request IFR clearance to Shannon. Now, you might see information like this. So ATC will come back to you and say, clear to Shannon on whatever departure you're using. Runway 28 left. That's what we're using this evening. Stop climb, flight level 9 or 0. There's an extra 0 in there. Again, I'm exaggerating what it is because someone might try to go to 90,000. You just wouldn't know your luck. But what they mean by stop climb, well, it sounds more basic than it needs to. Stop climbing. So they want you to stop at 9,000. Don't go above 9,000 feet, or in this case, flight level 9 or 0. In America, you would hear something like initial altitude 2,000 feet, expect flight level 150 10 minutes after departure. We don't do that here. Definitely in Ireland, and I haven't heard it in ICAO stuff either. So if you've heard it before, it's a little bit different when you fly in Europe. All right. So a stop climb means that's you're cleared to that altitude only. If you want to go higher after that, well, it's up to the next controller, be it approach or control, or if you go to Unicom, you announce it. You know, you tell whoever's in the area you're now climbing to the next altitude. All right. Now it also says here departure frequency 131.150. So the ground controller is saying, by the way, your departure frequency, they're telling you now it's going to be 131.150. Now, at what stage do you need to go onto that frequency? You'll be told. You just need to just remember that, oh, there's a frequency I need to jump onto. Now, for us, that frequency means we're going to jump onto a different Discord voice channel. Just as we get used to kind of hopping around different channels, different frequencies. That's the idea. All right. So stage 3, you have your push and start. Again, reminding it, this is what we're doing next. You have to request a push and start. And depending on ground, they might give you, push a start or push and start facing south or tug release point Sierra, whatever. You refer to your charts for that. Then you start up your engines. Then you get your taxi clearance. So you'll say, Firefly 235 off stand 10, request taxi. They'll then give you a taxi instruction. And again, you read back the full taxi instruction. And tonight, try and work this as best you can. Always wait for the conversation to finish before starting your own. What I mean by that is, if I'm Firefly 235 and I just requested a taxi, and then suddenly Firefly 999er jumps on and they've just requested a taxi. With the controller, then we're all interrupting each other. So as you're listening to the flows of communication, just make sure there's sufficient time between, what they're saying and then you jump in. I want to say there's a skill. It's not a skill. It's kind of potluck, but always allow that previous conversation to finish before you jump in, unless it's something urgent. But chances are you'd be told stand by, or break, Colonel Fork is here. It's good to see you. All right, there's a stream, not just a eclipse. It's a stream eclipse, Colonel Fork. It's great to see you, man. So we get our taxi clearance. We're going to go to a taxiway limit, it's called, or a taxi limit, usually holding short of a runway. And remember our airport etiquette, don't go past the hold short area. At that stage, we're going to report our position and we should be then handed over to the next controller. In this case, it will be Dublin Tower. So you'll jump onto Dublin Tower and you'll say, Dublin Tower, Firefly, whatever your call sign is, holding short runway, 28 left, ready for departure. You're ready to go. And then they could tell you line up and wait. They could give you a direct takeoff straight away. So it says line up and wait, keep on the lookout and on the runway departure. What I mean by that is, if you get a line up and wait, you're waiting now for the controller to come back to you. You haven't been cleared for takeoff. However, if they don't say line up and wait, they could just say this. You know, you could say Dublin Tower, Firefly 235, holding short, runway 28 left. They could jump straight to Firefly 235, report when passing altitude 2,000 feet, winds 2706 knots, runway 28, cleared takeoff. You have to repeat some of this information. Will report when passing altitude 2,000 feet. And there's a couple of things I want to specify here, and this is important, right? Any altitude below 5,000, and whatever the transition level is going to be, in our case it's 6,500. Anything below that, we refer to it as altitude and the number of feet. All right? So it's not flight level 20 or flight level 02. So if you've ever wondered, why do we say flight level and not just altitude? It goes against the transition altitude and the transition level, right? So when you're below the transition level, in this case, it's all of Ireland is covered by 5,000 feet. Anything above that, it's referred to as flight level. That'll vary from country to country, but just be aware of it. Anything above that, it's flight level, all right? So what they're saying here is, after you take off, report back when you're passing 2,000 feet. Grand. You're now taking off. You can see the altimeter starting to move. You're coming up on 2,000 feet. You give them a shout. Firefly 235, passing altitude 2,000 feet for flight level 9 That was your initial flight clearance, yeah? That was your initial one, all right? So, at that stage, the controller is going to hand you over to Shannon Control, and then you need to contact Shannon Control. Now, this is what you do. Shannon Control, Firefly 235, passing altitude 2,500 feet for flight level 90 on the Pella 6 Alpha departure. That's that. Who are you? Where are you? And what you doing, right? At that stage, they'll probably give you a additional climb, a new altitude perhaps, or they might just say radar contact. That's all. You don't climb, you don't do anything else unless you ask them or they tell you. So you don't say, well, I'm at me 9,000 and sure, I'll go on up to 13. If you want to climb, if they haven't given you a new altitude, your limit is still flight level 90, if that makes sense. All right. We remain on Shannon Control's frequency because there's another instruction here. It says Firefly 235, radar contact, climb flight level 120, report 5 DME at Deegan. Now you're probably saying to yourself, huh, DME? What do they mean by this? Does anyone know? Someone tell us now in the chat. Radar contact. So that's a way of saying identified or radar contact. Doesn't really matter. They tend to say identified. I'm saying radar contact so we know. You could hear both. It depends on the controller. Usually you'll hear identified in Europe. Usually. So they might say identified, right? But does anyone know what we mean by report 5 DME at Deegan? What do they mean by that? Where do we find that? Where's the signpost in the sky that shows 5 DME? DIDA, correct. It means distance measuring equipment. Basically, they want to tell you, report when you're 5 miles away from Deegan. So as the pilot, keep an eye on the distance to your next waypoint. It's going to show it in your avionics how far you are from that waypoint. And when you're roughly 5 miles away from that waypoint, Deegan, you call them back. Firefly 235 is 5 DME at Deegan. Then you'll get further instruction. Our intention is to clear you now for the ILS approach. You're not cleared to land, you're cleared for the approach. And you fly the ILS approach. And you might get another limit, report at Ulset, for instance. Then you get to Ulset, and then the controller will say, continue approach, descend to altitude 3,000 feet, contact Shannon Tower, 118.7. Okay, continue approach, and descend to altitude 3,000 feet, contact Shannon Tower on 118.7. Okay, sweet. So you make sure you have the current ATIS information. It's going to be there on the Discord, and then you can give Shannon Tower a shout. Usually you'll be talking to Tower when you are established on the localizer. So don't be afraid to wait until you've got yourself established on the ILS. Because there's no point calling them unless you're established. All right? All right. So, and that's it. All going well. Once you have your spacing correct and you're not bunched up, Shannon Tower will give you a clearance to land. Super wonderful news. All right? So to reiterate, well, once you land, you have to vacate. The tower will then give you your taxi instruction, and then that's it. Job's a good one. Okay? Just remember, Group A is for airliners and fast jets only. Group A. Group B is everything else. General aviation, King Airs, Cessna 414s, whatever. That's Group B. We're only getting Group A in and out as fast as possible. So all pilots to be spawned in Dublin on the North Europe server, that's Group A, and Group B follow along in about 35 minutes, give or take. All right? Use this book here to help you along. So as you're going through the bits and bobs on your aircraft, then just scroll down and say, right, I need to do this bit next. And just kind of read through the script. It's giving you an idea of what's going to be said. And the most important thing is, it's us. It's only us. This is a very controlled, safe environment. Do not worry if you make a complete and utter dog's dinner out of it. It's grand. You'll never guess what I did last night. This actually happened. So there I was, flying on X-Plane in the MD-11. Right? Don't know the aircraft. That was the first stupid thing to do. But it was grand. Takeoff was grand. My, approach was wonderful, that I even managed to land it, right? And then I got a very simple taxi instruction. Firefly 235, turn left on Foxtrot and, parking at Charlie. Turn left on Foxtrot and then Charlie. Firefly 235. I turned right instead of turning left. I got the taxi instruction completely wrong. Only for the controller to come back on and say, your other left. No, I've done something terribly stupid. So take your time. Don't let other things distract you. Write stuff down. Get a bit of paper, get a pen, whatever. Write the instructions down. And if you're struggling with it, take a breath. Just take a breath. Everything's going to be grand. And if you need to be reminded, if it's whatever reason, it's all gone out of your head, just talk to the ATC. Can you repeat? Can you say again? That's it. We're here to help. All right? Super. Right, grand. Now, during the first bit of the flight, because I'm of no use here at all, because, well, I'm all the way down at Shannon, right? However, this is my scope. Ah, yes, this is the wonderful scope. So this is the control scope. So I can see aircraft. This is Dublin up here on the right. Here's Peleg. Here's Deegan. And then here's Shannon Airport down here. And there should be no one here, only myself at the moment. There's me. But if I go up and have a look at how Dublin, hey, here's Dublin. And we have some peoples here. So you see those yellow blips? Well, they're peoples, right? That's you lot getting ready now to get fired up and running, right? So what we're going to be doing, in a moment, we're going to have ground and tower activate at Dublin. And they're going to be giving these aircraft their clearances and letting them start flying. And then, of course, once we get down, or once you guys get down a little bit further, I'm going to pick you up on my scope. You'll be handed over to me. I'm going to look after you until you get down very close to kind of Shannon, around Deegan, and Ulsit. Wasn't that the other one? I need to appear Ulsit. Display settings. I need to appear a fix, and it's called Ulsit. Hang on a second. Oh, Jesus, where are you hiding? Ulsit. Ulsit. There you are. In you go, you big Jesse. So when you get to Ulsit, because that's the way the star is going to look like. And you might be saying, Murphy, you're so knowledgeable and wondrous. How do you know these things? The answer is Navigraph, right? Navigraph. So what's this flight now? Jesus, that's not right. Dublin. Load that, you mad devil, you. Is it this one? No. Is it that one? No. Is it this one? Yes, it's this one. Right? Many flight plans going on. So check this out. Oh, Jesus. Check this out, right? So this is what the flight plan looks like. And the flight plan is available on our Discord in the IFR channel, right? I'll show you. In here. IFR course. Go into the ATC area and you'll see the flight plan down here. Just behind me, Mallet Head. Route for tonight. EIDW, runway 28 left. The Pella 6 Alpha departure. Peleg, direct Deegan. Then the Deega 2 Echo arrival for Shannon's ILS 06. All right. Well, let's have a look at the devil. So everyone's going to be here in Dublin at various locations throughout the airport where they're starting off from. These gadgets here, by the way, we don't call them gates. You might hear people say, I'm at this gate. But pilots don't refer to them as gates. They call them stands. Stand 402 right. Now, they could say 402 Romeo. You don't need to go phonetic when it comes to the R or the L or the C, right? But you do need to say where you are. And they're called stands. Stand, right? So once you get your taxi clearance, well, all your clearance, you'll be departing from runway 28 left. Point to note here, lads, be careful of these hold short lines. There's one here, if they put you onto 16, and then you have Echo 1, and you have Bravo 2. Do not go past those hold short lines. That is important, right? That is important. When you depart, you go flying. You'll probably get to around here at your first waypoint at 2,000 feet. You give us a shout. Then you get handed over to control. I'll pick you up before you get to Peleg. You continue flying Peleg. And then when you're 5 miles from Deegan, you're going to give me a shout. I'll probably descend you. I'll probably say, right, descend, altitude, whatever, or flight level, whatever. You are cleared for the ILS approach. So you continue on as if you were doing the ILS approach. Now you look at your star. This is your star. This is the arrival. So you'll see Deegan, Ulsit, Terdu, Elpom, and then in. All right? If you haven't got the approach, all you need to do is go to airports, go to Shannon, go to the approach, and it's an ILS for 06. Pin that divil into your charts down the bottom. Just pin it. So here's what the ILS looks like. So as we're flying along, we're going to come in this side. And you'll see the localizer frequency, 109.5, and your final approach is 056. Your decision altitude, or your decision height, is going to be 246. Airport elevation at Shannon, it says it on your chart here. Be the Janie, where are you heading now? Airport elevation. Does anyone know the airport elevation? It's very, very small. Very small. Altitude set, runway elevation +2. Transition altitude 5,000. It's probably here. Airport elevation, look. 46. Right? P.S. Miranda, thank you. Yeah, airport elevation is there. All right? So you get the idea. Now, missed approach. If for whatever reason you're given a go around or you have to go missed approach, listen to what the tower is going to tell you what to do. More than likely, the tower will give you an instruction. They'll say, climb to altitude 4,000 feet, direct Deegan. Contact Shannon Control on whatever frequency. They're going to hand you back to me, and then I'll give you some sort of mad routing, come back with a suntan and then try it again. Because it might happen, right? Toby Jones, welcome in. So that's our charts. We'll have a look at those in a moment. The last thing I want to show you, lads, is how do we set up the weather in the sim. So don't mind the fact that I'm using Flow. This is the default weather settings. I want everyone to select few clouds. Pick your few clouds. And when you select few clouds, well, you see the 3 cloud icons over there on the left. Bring the first 2 sliders for your top layer and your middle layer of the clouds. Bring the coverage down to 0%. For the third layer, the bottom layer, coverage view, about 16. It doesn't really matter. You can play around with that, but it is only a few clouds, right? Density, you can play around with that if you wish. The altitude, these need to be at 3,000 feet. Now, these are in meters because I've changed everything to meters. So have it set to feet. Few clouds at 3,000 feet. That's it. Super. Next up, hit this little wind icon here, look. For the wind, we're going to say, right, the wind is coming in from 0 degrees or 360 or, put it somewhere roughly there, 356, roughly from the north, and its speed is going to be 4 knots. 4 knots. Scroll down and make sure you have the gusts at 0. Gusts at 0. Cloud bottom is 3,000. Yes, the bottom of the cloud layer is at 3,000 feet. So don't have any gusts and just have your wind at 4 knots coming in from the north. Your last bit of stuff here then is the settings. And what you need to do, adjust the temperature to 12 degrees. If it's in Fahrenheit, add 30 or take 30, something like that. And then you'll have your pressure. This is vital. The pressure in hectopascals, 1014. Don't worry too much about the smaller digits, but get in 1014. That's the weather. All right, that's the weather. Eamon is here. Good to see you. Working again. I'll have to practice later. No problem at all. No problem at all. All right. So that is the weather. That's what we've gone for. Time of day, entirely up to yourselves, right? Have a bit of fun with it. And as I said, this is my screen now. I'm live in Shannon, and I'm going to have a look at the scope. And with that said, if the guys in Dublin, we are ready to receive you. So we can start firing up there now. So pilots who are in the lounge, if you're in Group A, it will now be time to spawn into the Southeast Asian server. Check around. Make sure you're not literally parked on top of someone else, because that would be kind of weird. And then jump onto the Southeast Asian server. And when you're ready, we're going to jump in and have a listen to the ATC. So the first thing we're going to hear, I need to mute myself. The first thing, turn off microphone. There we go. So the first thing we're going to hear is when people start jumping into Dublin ground, and they're going to start up with their flight plans. And they're going to go through their full flight plan from start to finish, right? If you have inches of mercury in the sim, it is 2994. Thank you, Rambog. Yes. If you want to know how do you change the currency, if you like, go into your assistance options, go into user experience, is it? Hang on. Piloting, notifications, go into general options, I think, miscellaneous, units of measure, and you can change it from the metric to the hybrid to a US system. Metric system is what they use in Europe. That's what we're going for. All right. So that's how we do that. It's a good job not flying around Dunkirk tonight. Bit of a lightning storm. No way. So does everyone now know what they're doing? So remember, the first job you have, get the ATIS. That's critical. You need to get the ATIS. All right. And once you have your ATIS information, then you'll be jumping over to Dublin ground, and then you'll be able to do the thing with getting your clearance. All right. So a quick check on the team, because we have a team of people here this evening, and just people starting to jump in. Now, just be aware, until you have Dublin ground controller, in this case, I think it's Rambog, he'll be listening to the airwaves. We'll listen in and we'll get an idea. For this segment, I'm going to show you the scope, because this is what ATC sees. We don't see anything else. They don't see anything else. They just see this sort of stuff. All right. So we can see some aircraft here. Let me see. So here's a couple of guys here. It might be a little bit difficult to show you what I'm looking at. There's Gibbo up there. Rambog. There's another aircraft. There's another aircraft. There's another aircraft. So you can see now we're starting to get a good few aircraft lining, and they're on the various stands. And we can see their call signs. Yeah, we can see their call signs. So there's already a bit of traffic
Good
here.
afternoon, Dublin ground. Firefly 602 with information. Juliet requesting IFR to Cork.
Nice, nice.
Firefly 602, Dublin ground, hello. You are cleared to Shannon via the Peleg 5 Alpha departure, runway 28 left. Stop climb, flight level 90, squawk 6601, and departure frequency is 131.150.
Firefly 602 is cleared to Cork via the Pele 5 Alpha. Climb up to 090. Departure frequency 131.150. Squawks 6601 for 602.
Firefly 602, readback is correct, and yeah, it's the Peleg 6 Alpha, my bad.
And have a listen if there's any issues, because I'm almost...
we have the 6 Alpha.
I'm almost certain he said Cork. I could be wrong, but just have a listen back, right? See if you guys in the chat can hear when they're requesting the clearance, what they're asking for, and then what the controller is saying back, and then how do they confirm it back. This is great to listen into.
Dublin ground, Firefly 807.
Firefly 807, Dublin ground, pass your message.
Firefly 807, Airbus A320. Oh, let me get back to you in the stand 1 second. Ground.
It should be Shannon. We're going to Shannon. So if Firefly 602 thinks they're going to Cork,
Dublin ground,
they need to shout
Firefly
back.
305.
Firefly 305, Dublin ground, pass your message.
Firefly 305, Airbus A320, stand 312 Charlie, information Juliet, request IFR clearance to Shannon.
Firefly 305, you are clear to Shannon, Peleg 6 Alpha departure. Flight level 900, squawk 6646. Departure frequency is 131.150.
Cleared to Shannon on the Peleg 6 Alpha departure, runway 28.
Super Tie is back.
Lima, stop climb, flight level 090, departure frequency 131.15, squawk 6646, Firefly 305.
Firefly 305, readback is correct.
So you get the idea, right? So pilots are jumping on with all the information. In this case, it's information Juliet. They are given the information to ATC to say, Firefly, their call sign. Where are they? What are they? What do they know? And what do they want? So they're, an Airbus A320, stand 110, information Juliet, request IFR to Shannon. Okay. The controller will then read back because they can see their flight plan. They can actually read the flight plan that you guys have put up there. And if there is any issue, if you can't, for whatever reason, you can't get into your flight plan. I'll show you now, look. So the flight plan, if you go back here, so you go into file your flight plan under flight planning and submit a new flight plan. And all you need to do, you put in your call sign, it's an IFR flight, your aircraft type, the wake category, your departure, in this case, is going to be Shannon. Your arrival is your departure is Dublin. Your arrival is Shannon. Your alternate, I'd bring you back to Dublin. And, what you're doing. And then you would submit the flight plan and a little green box to say, flight plan submitted successfully. Once you do that, we have you, we see you, and there shouldn't be any issue.
Firefly 007, you are cleared to Shannon via the Peleg 6 Alpha departure, runway 28 left. Stop climb flight level 900, squawk 6652. Departure frequency is 131.150.
Terribly exciting this
Clear
part,
to
isn't it?
Shannon is filed via the Peleg 6 Alpha departure, runway 28 left. Flight level 900, squawk 6652. Departure on 131.15, Firefly 007.
Firefly 007, readback correct.
Dublin ground, Firefly 206.
Firefly 206, Dublin ground, pass your message.
Firefly 206, citation longitude at stand 606 with information Juliet. Request IFR clearance to Shannon.
This is so cool listening to you guys being able to do all of this.
Peleg 6 Alpha departure,
Like,
runway
go back a
28
few
left.
weeks ago,
Initial
none of
climb,
this was
flight
happening.
level
This is really good.
900, squawk 6654 and departure frequency 131.15.
Clear to Shannon via Peleg 6 Alpha departure, runway 28 left. Initial climb, flight level 90, squawk 6654, and departure frequency is 131.15, Firefly 206.
That's it.
Firefly 206, readback correct.
Starting says, I can never remember what off-block time
Firefly
means.
305.
So off-block time basically means the time in which we expect you to be pushing back off the blocks. That's what they mean by that. Off the block. Yeah, off the block. That's what they mean by that.
Face south.
So another instruction going in.
Push and start approved. Firefly 305, face south.
Dublin
there-
ground,
there's a-
Firefly 602. We would like to amend our flight plan from Cork to Shannon. We had the wrong flight plan on board.
Oh, that's okay.
Firefly 602, stand by.
Who's this? Edgar, good to see you, man.
Firefly 602, yeah, that's updated.
Double
Firefly
ground.
112, request push and start.
So you can hear them now. So
who was calling for push and start?
So they're getting the clearance. That's moving fairly fast. They have the clearance. They've put it into their MacDo or whatever, their FMS, and now they're looking for a push. They want to start moving.
Push and start approved. Face west. QNH 1014.
Push and start approved, face west 1014 hectopascals, Firefly 112.
And that's how it works. So when you get the altimeter
Ground, Firefly 30.
in Europe, they'll say something like, you know, QNH 9 or 9 or 4 hectopascals. You have to say the hectopascals part. All right.
To Shannon.
Oh yeah, this frequency will be very busy.
Firefly 306. Good evening. Clear to Shannon via the Peleg 6 Alpha departure. Runway 28 left. Stop climb. Flight level 900. Squawk 6671. And departure frequency is
Now just have a look at my scope here for the moment, lads. If you can see that, right? So I can see there's movement here. There's movement happening and it says no push clearance. Now there is push clearance. It's just I'm not controlling these lads. This has all been looked after by Dublin Ground. So they have a little status window that they can say, yeah, this guy has been approved for pushback. But see the way there's stuff flashing now? So the controller gets a visual cue to say, this guy is moving. That's how they're controlling it. So if you were to move on VATSIM without permission, the controller will be alerted to it, right? If you were to engage pause or slew mode on VATSIM, it detects it and it'll actually drop you off the network. You have to reconnect. So just be aware of that, right? Don't worry, if you have a CTD or whatever, just load back in. That's fine.
Firefly 807. You are clear to Shannon. Peleg 6 Alpha departure. Runway 28 left.
Now, there's another thing I need to say here as well. Rambog, he's never done controlling like this before. This is the first time he's jumped onto ground and he's issuing clearances. I'm almost certain of it. If not, it's the first time he's done it at Dublin. Right? Brilliant.
Peleg 6 Alpha departure. Runway 28 Lima. Stop climb.
VAT USA CRC can't do that. We just watch for actual movement. Really? What server should be on to fly? Southeast Asia.
22. Firefly 807.
Firefly 807. Read back correct.
Firefly 206, stand 606, request push and start.
Firefly 206. Push and start approved. Face east. QNH 1014.
So he's over here on
Push and start
606.
approved, tracing east QNH 1014.
That's him there, look.
Firefly 206.
So that's the stand, or that's the parking location where he's at.
Start from stand 406 Bravo.
Wait, no, hang on. What are we saying? Right, if you're in Group A,
Firefly
you're on Southeast Asia right now. If you're in Group B, it's North Europe.
Stand by 602.
Yeah. So if you're in Group B,
Firefly
you can jump on
112,
to North Europe.
please.
Firefly 112, taxi to runway 28 left via Bravo 1, Echo 1, hold short, 28 left.
Taxi 28 left via Bravo 1, Echo 1, hold short 28 left, Firefly 112.
And Firefly 602, behind that, passing A320 from right to left, you can push and start.
Firefly
Face
6.
west.
Firefly 602 will push behind company, face west.
Okay, so we need to do something a bit mad here now because we're having an issue.
Firefly 305 off stand 131 Charlie, request taxi.
So 1 second now, Dublin ground.
Sorry, who was that calling?
Firefly 305.
Firefly 305, taxi link 3, Foxtrot, hold short of link 1.
Okay. So what we need to do now, we're just having a small issue on one of the servers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump on, and I'm going to look after ground for a moment. Let's hop in here, and right. Now, I need to press some buttons here, so just stand by now for a second. Murph to Dublin ground.
Doubling around.
How's it going? Come here, I need to borrow you for a minute, because there's a scratch in the head moment with some of the Euroscope stuff. So if it's okay, I'll look after here for a few minutes, if you can have a quick look at the other chat.
Yes, I just saw, and if you take round, I'll be back.
Cool.
Murph, it's Gibbo. Sorry to butt in. Quick question. Do you want me to delay takeoffs because you're not at Shannon Control?
If you can, give us about 5 minutes, Gibbo should do it.
Sounds good.
All stations, Dublin ground is now active once again. If you're awaiting an instruction, just give me a shout. We'll see what happens. It'll be grand. Who's doing what and
Dublin
where?
ground 55306, ready for push and start at gate at stand 313.
306. He wants a push and start at stand 303, he said. That's this devil here, look. Squawk is working with a squawk. He's over to 303 in Dublin. Is there anyone moving around him, says you? Well, let's find out together. Firefly 306, push and start approved. QNH 1014. Who's in charge? You haven't a clue what you're doing.
Push and start approved 1014, Firefly 306.
Right, so this fella is now push and start. Now we're getting there now, lads. It's all happening, right? Ah, jeez. All is well in the realm. So, hang on.
Dublin ground, Firefly 807, requesting push and start.
Okay, where are you, 807? Let's go find you. He's on the... Oh, he's up here, look. Grand. Firefly 807, push and start approved. QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, QNH 1014. Firefly 807.
I could put on me fancy voice now. Hello? See?
Dublin delivery, Firefly 702, Boeing 737 on stand 203 right with information Juliet request IFR clearance to Shannon.
What did he was? 702? I didn't see a 702. Firefly 702, Dublin ground. Stand by.
Standing by, Firefly 702.
Oh, right. Where is he? I don't see him. I don't see a 702. Does anyone see a 702? We have 807. High speed. Who's that devil? Let's have a look here now. So we don't see 702. Are we an hour early again? Donut Diego. No, man. It's 1900 Zulu. 19. I don't see 702. Okay, fear not. I'll try and do a thing with a yoke. We'll press some buttons. It's organised chaos, lads. That's what I like about it. Right, now, give the scope a moment. We're looking for 702. I don't see him. Firefly 702, Dublin ground. Just confirm you are on the Southeast Asian server.
Firefly 305, holding short runway 28 left at link 1.
You see? You see? Firefly 702, Dublin ground. Can you confirm you're on the Southeast Asian server?
Firefly 702, I am on the Southeast Asian server, yes.
Roger, we'll call you back. Break. Firefly 112, contact Dublin ground. Correction, contact Dublin tower 118.6.
Contact tower on 118.6, Firefly 112.
Firefly 305, contact Dublin tower 118.6. Now I don't have that divil at all, 70 something. So let's have a look. Firefly 702, Dublin ground. I have your clearance. Let me know when you're ready to copy.
Firefly 702, ready to copy.
There he is there. Firefly 702, you are clear to Shannon on the Peleg 1. Sorry, the Peleg 6 Alpha departure. Runway 28 left. QNH 1014, squawk 6614, and departure frequency will be 131.150.
Clear to Shannon on the Peleg 6 Alpha departure, runway 28 left. Squawk 6614, and I forgot the departure frequency. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Departure frequency will be 131.150.
Departure frequency 131.150. Firefly 702.
Firefly 702, read back correct. Sweet. Right, we're getting there now.
Dublin ground, Firefly 602 is off stand 406 Bravo on Zulu, ready for taxi.
Firefly 602. Firefly 602, roger. Now, let me see.
Firefly 305, holding short runway 28 left at link 1.
Firefly 305, contact Dublin Tower, 118.6.
Dublin ground, Firefly 508.
Firefly 508, stand by. Firefly 305, Dublin ground. You need to read back the calls, lads. Jesus. Firefly 602, Dublin ground. Taxi Zulu. Echo 1, hold short runway 28 left.
Taxi Zulu, Echo 1 for Firefly 602.
Who was that last guy?
Firefly 007 requesting push and start.
Firefly 007, after the company aircraft taxiing from your right to left, push and start approved. QNH 1014 hectopascals.
After the company aircraft passing from right to left, push and start approved. QNH 1014, Firefly 007.
Sweet.
Dublin ground.
This is Rambag.
All stations stand by. Go ahead, Rambag.
Yeah, so Shannon is now online, so we can do the swapperoo and get these departures out of here.
Ah, jeez, brilliant. Great news. Okay, quick status update. So, 602 taxiing, 007 has been approved, push and start, and 702, he's not on my scope details, but I can see him. He has been given his initial clearance, and the next call will be for a push and start.
All right, copy all. Good luck.
Ah, Jesus, brilliant. Right, I'm now going over to this lad, so I'll jump in. Dublin Tower, Murph.
Murph, are you right?
Asher, listen, this is the best part of the night. Ready when you are, Michael Flower.
This is why VODs are better.
Right, let's continue on with the madness. Thanks. Right, so we have a couple of people waiting.
We're back to normal. Firefly 112, Dublin Tower.
Go ahead, 112.
Firefly 112, line up await, runway 28 left.
So now we're going on to the tower frequency, right? This stuff doesn't have, well, it does kind of, but where we're at now, ground is operational, as you've heard. We've had a bit of an issue, so I jumped in. We're now back in action, so all the ground traffic are going to start moving up to the tower frequency. Gibbo's on tower, so he's going to give you the line up, wait, then the instruction, and then you're going to blast off out of there, right? So we can see here now, Firefly 112, and see this alert coming up again, lads, runway incursion. That's because 112 has not been updated here to say takeoff, yeah? Now the lads are going to take control there. I don't need to worry about it because I'll be chatting to them in a little while. So on my screen, this is my screen. Welcome to my world. This is my screen. I'm going to start seeing the lads
Hello there.
moving here very, very shortly. Very, very shortly, I'm going to see all the lads because you can see everyone here on Dublin, look. This is all the traffic at Dublin. Now, I can't do anything with these lads yet until...
112, report when passing altitude 2,000 feet, winds 350 at 4 knots, runway 28 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff. Will report passing 2,000 feet. Firefly 112.
So there's the first departure. So his instruction was, call me back when you pass altitude 2,000 feet, in which then I'd be jumping over to him. So we just need to make sure that Gibbo releases that aircraft to me on the scope, and all should be well.
305 after the departing Airbus A320, runway 28 left, line up and wait.
Firefly 305, line up and wait, runway 28 left.
Okay. Are we having fun yet? So Firefly 112, I can see him. He's now departed. Yeah? So I better jump over to my little channel. And now this is the Shannon Control. So at this stage, I am going to be waiting for a call from this aircraft. This is my first one for tonight. This is the first departure. I know what flight plan he's on, right? So they've spoken to ground, they've spoken to tower. They're now going to jump over to me, and then all going well, I'm going to then hand them over to Shannon Tower a little bit later on. Again, if you're unsure what we're doing or how we're doing it, where's this now?
Shannon Control, good evening. Firefly 112, passing 3,500 for 9,000.
There we go. That's my first call. Firefly 112, Shannon Control, good evening. Identified. Climb flight level 140.
Climb flight level 140 for Firefly 112.
There he goes. So I should have him up here. That's the star. I can see what he's doing, and I can give him an assigned... he filed for 20,000, but we'll give him 140. So we'll give him 140 just to be sure, right? So there's our first aircraft moving along. And Firefly 112 contacts me again 5 miles from Deegan.
Contact you 5 DME from Deegan, Firefly 112.
And that's it. The control element doesn't do a whole lot. It's all about spacing, right? So the first aircraft, which is Firefly 112, I've given him a slightly higher altitude, right? I can see what I've assigned, or what he's been assigned. And then the next aircraft is going to be departing after him. So he's going to call me back when he gets to Deegan. That's just in case I don't forget him. But it's not like me to forget people when they're flying. Do you know what I mean? So yes, they will be screaming at you for keeping them lower, burning all the motion. It's fine, right? Virtual fuel. But yeah, like they want to go higher for numerous reasons. Fuel is more efficient the higher you go, less thrust needed and all this jazz when you're up there. But yeah, for this, 140 was fine. I know that Dougal has filed for 20,000 or flight level 20, but I'm going to keep him at 14. Just, we take our time at this. Do you know what I mean? So far, so good. So there's 112 airborne. I can see 305 on my scope. Here's 305, look. Now 305, but he wanted 12,000, flight level 120. And if you're getting stuck anywhere, just refer to the script. The script is where we have everything, yeah? So you'll see it here. If you just go on to the script, lesson number 5, you'll see what the crack is. That makes sense?
Fly 305, passing altitude 6,000 feet for flight level 90, Peleg 6A departure.
So that's Firefly 305. Firefly 305, Shannon Control, good evening. Climb flight level 120, report 5 DME from Deegan.
Climb flight level 120 will report 5 DME at Deegan, 5 fly 305.
And there we go. Now, I'm keeping an eye on the lads here, so I can keep them to minutes. Spacing is of the, absolute holy Jesus. You know, Murph, I'm a little bit quiet on Discord compared to others. Thanks, Dougal. I'll turn that up. Where's the button? Okay. We're bringing it up here now. And hopefully I'm not too loud for you lads. Firefly 112, Shannon Control.
Firefly 112, go ahead.
Is that a little better?
Yes, much better.
Sweet. Okay. So I need to turn up my mic. I would just say 5 from whatever.
Good evening, Shannon Center. Firefly 602 is at flight level 030 up to 090.
Okay, 602. He's filed for 180. He's in an A320. Let's send him up. Firefly 602, Shannon Control, good evening. Climb flight level 180, report 5 DME from Deegan.
Up to 180 for 602 will report 5 miles from Deegan.
So remember, lads, the spacing here is of the utmost importance, right? The utmost, because if you, the airliners aren't too bad, this spacing is pretty good, right? They need to maintain that. If I see someone jumping ahead, chances are you're going to get a go around. So the best thing to do speed wise, somewhere around 200 to 220, in and around there. If you can keep your speed in and around that, we should be good to go. We should be good to go. Now we're also going to start getting a lot of the Group B coming on board soon, which is good. So we're getting through it. Again, if a lot of this is going over your head, don't worry. This is pretty much what we took into, this is what we practiced last week. We will be doing more of this, but this is to give you a good idea to say, okay, so the controllers in Dublin have brought me to here. Shannon Control, or Centre, right? They're looking after me during the middle part. And then once the lads start getting down this neck of the woods, well, that's when, we're going to be handed over once then to Shannon Tower, right? Over to Shannon Tower. So there's quite a bit going on here. So having a quick look at me charts, Deegan, Peleg, so Turdu. It'd be no harm now if I put Turdu on my little chart here. So let's see, display fixes Turdu. And just bear in mind as well, for myself, Rambog and Gibbo, this is all terribly new to us. We're not controlling, we don't do controlling. That's not what we do. But the point of doing all of this is it's to provide just a space for us. You know what I mean? The Flight Sim channel, good to see you. How did you get Euroscope to work on a network other than VATSIM? Secrets and mysteries. I don't actually know. Rambog did a lot of it. But it's detecting Microsoft Flight Sims multiplayer. That is the network. It's Microsoft Flight Sims multiplayer. And that's giving us the information. Now, if I have a little look here, I can see there's another aircraft. He's not one of us. But I do see Firefly 206 on the road. So he's mine. Firefly 206 will be calling me next. And, well, let's have another look at him. So Firefly 206 is in a longitude. And he wants flight level 20. So let's see what happens. He should contact us very, very shortly.
Shannon Control, Firefly 206, passing altitude 4,500 feet, climbing flight level 90, Peleg 6 Alpha departure.
Firefly 206, Shannon Control, good evening. Climb flight level 20. Contact me 5 DME Deegan.
Climb flight level 200 and contact you 5 DME Deegan. Firefly 206.
Here we go. You forgot a 0. 20 is 2000. Oh, Jesus, I did, old veteran. Could you imagine? He's only going to cruise at 2,000 feet. I told you I'm not a controller. But yeah, I did. Total Aviation is here. Good to see you. I better tell him again, so. And Firefly 206, just to confirm, flight level 200, 20,000 feet altitude.
Flight level 200 for Firefly 206.
I'm very sorry, Your Honour. I fixed it now. You're talking to the fella who was told to turn left and turned right by a VATSIM controller. I'll just turn right and then right again. So keep turning right while you're at it. It'll eventually turn, it isn't dizzy, it'll turn into a left. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's grand, lads. This is me we're talking about. Do you know? Everyone's doing a great job except for me. I have to say, they're doing a great job except for me. But don't worry about it. Right. Who's this now? Do we have another? We do! No, we don't. Not yet. Not yet. And if we do, I can't see them. Oh, shit. This is going to be hilarious. Look at the train. There's a train of people flying. This is brilliant crack, isn't it? I should really put this according to their assigned altitude. So he's 14.
Control Firefly 306 at 4,000, climbing 9,000.
I don't see 406. No. Rambog, the thing isn't working. I don't see Oh, wait. That's 702. What's he doing up there? Why don't I see 406? Ah, Jesus, the thing is broken. Does anyone see 406 yet? No? He's not one of us. 406, where are you, mate? I don't see a 406. He's not on me thing, my gadget.
Shannon Control Firefly 306 at 7,000, climbing 9,000.
306? 7,000 climbing 9,000. Yeah, I don't see him, mate. There's a problem. Rambog, can you refresh the gadget? Firefly 306, Shannon Control. Ident.
Firefly 306, standby.
This could be
Firefly
hilarious.
306, ident.
Okay, I just don't see him. And yet, he's there. Quick cycle of the multiplayer. And with the luck of Jesus, we'll be back in now in a second. Right, give it a second, give it a second. So we're looking for Firefly 306, isn't it? Rambog, you need to do it now, refresh. Try looking at your other left, right? Keep an eye on the scope, lads, if someone appears. Here's a someone. That's 007. The name is Bond. So if we have 007, there's someone in here. This is going to be hilarious crack. Firefly 306. Can you just report your cruise altitude that you filed?
Firefly 306, I filed for 22,000.
Firefly 306, Roger, climb flight level 220. Contact 5 DME Deegan.
Climb 220, 5 DME Deegan will contact Firefly 306.
Okay, we don't have him, so we need to be careful. He's between here and here. Right, he'll be grand. What's Muse
Shannon Control, good evening. Firefly 007 is at 4,000 feet for flight level 900.
Firefly 007, Shannon Control, good evening. Climb flight level 240. Contact me at 5 DME Deegan.
Climbing to flight level 240 will contact you 5 DME from Deegan 55007.
Sweet. Okay, so we can see the
Shannon
lads.
Control Firefly 112 5 DME Deegan.
Excellent. So this is them starting to come in now. Where's this now? Firefly 112, Roger. Cleared for the ILS approach, runway 06. Descend now, flight level 60. Report Ulset.
Cleared for the ILS 06, descend now 6,000 and repeat last up.
Report overhead Ulset.
Report overhead Ulset, Firefly 112.
Sweet. Okay, we're getting there. So this guy's moving in fairly fast, which is exactly what we want. So he's now on the approach. I've cleared him for the ILS approach. He's not cleared to land. He's only cleared for the approach. All right. So he's going to continue on here. And once he's at Ulset, I'll probably descend him a little bit more. And then I'll hand him over then to Shannon Tower. It's new for all of us, right? I can actually feel myself aging, right? But it's grand. The most important thing here that we're giving information to our pilots. They can understand what's happening, right? Now, there's one aircraft that's not showing. It's a limitation. It's what the Microsoft server can feed us. There's only so much it can or can't do, right? It's doing a pretty good job considering. So for the moment, I'm not overly worried. There is a gap here. I'm just going to maintain the gap because I know 306 is somewhere in here. All right. 807 is inbound. So Firefly 807, A320. He wants 150. The spacing so far is very, very good. You're doing a great job, lads.
Hello there.
Really, really great job. So 112, I descended him now to 6,000. Next aircraft 305 is going to call me. I'm going to drop him to 6,000. And he's going to get the same entry instruction. A 602 is a little bit too close. See the gap you want? He's just a little bit too close. So I'll get him to report what speed he's doing, even though I can kind of see it here now. And then we'll get talking to them. Hey, SK Sun.
Firefly 305 is 5 miles northeast DME at Deegan.
Firefly 305, Roger. Cleared ILS approach, runway 06. Descend now, flight level 60. Report when overhead Ulset.
Cleared for the ILS approach, runway 06. Descend and maintain flight levels 60. Will report overhead at Ulset, Firefly 305.
You could put them in a hold. There's no need just yet. So 602, I'm going to make life a little bit tricky for him because I'm going to have to slow him down. But that should be okay. So who is that? So that's 112 and 305. 305, he's been assigned. 602, we're going to reduce him down to 6,000. The spacing is still good. 602 is a little bit too close. And Firefly 602, Shannon Control.
Firefly 602.
Can you advise current airspeed?
Firefly 602's current airspeed at 240 knots indicated.
Roger, reduce speed now to 200 knots. Descend flight level 60. Cleared for the ILS approach. And contact me overhead Ulset.
Firefly 602 is slowing down at 200. We'll be down to 060 and we'll contact over Ulset.
Perfect. These are all like they're all like conditional clearances. You're being told to do slightly different things. They're slightly out of scope, but you get the idea. Yeah, you get the idea.
Shannon Control Firefly 306. Just want to confirm if you have me on radar.
306. Firefly 306, negative, but you're in my thoughts and prayers. But don't worry, we'll you tell me once you're approaching Deegan and I'll look after you from there.
Affirmative. Can you confirm I'm on the right server? It's North Europe.
Negative, should be on Southeast Asia.
Roger, stand by.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so it's all happening now. So 602, yes, he's descending. You can see the gaps. Dougal's almost at Ulset. We're looking good here now. 602 is slowing down. Gets the speed right down. Firefly 305, Shannon Control.
305, go ahead.
Can you report your current airspeed?
Current airspeed 200 knots, Firefly 305.
Roger, break, Firefly 602. Reduce speed now 180 knots.
602 is down to 180.
Are you ever going to do actual flights in flight? Yes, Ashley, of course. Of course. Oh, look, we have 306. Brilliant. Absolutely
Shannon
brilliant.
Control, Firefly 112, overhead, Ulset, current speed 220 knots.
Okay. His speed is good, is Dougal. Firefly 112, Roger, continue approach. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the ILS.
Continue approach, descend to 3,000, contact tower on 118.7 when established, Firefly 112.
That's it.
Firefly 2065 DME at Deegan.
206. Firefly 206, Shannon Control, Roger, descend flight level 60. Continue, you are cleared on the ILS approach. Report when overhead Ulset.
Cleared on the ILS approach, descend flight level 60 and will report overhead Ulset Firefly 206.
Now these guys, a little bit too close. Firefly 305, Shannon Control.
305, go ahead.
If you can maintain 210 knots or greater for the moment, just a little bit of spacing.
Maintain 210 knots or greater. 305.
Firefly 602, reduce speed if able, 160 knots.
Down to 160. I'm pretty sure that we are constrained at this speed right now currently.
Okay, no problem, thanks.
Shannon Control, Firefly 807. Have passed altitude 2,500, currently at flight level 90 for the Peleg 6 Alpha departure.
Firefly 807, Shannon Control, good evening. Climb flight level 150, report 5 DME, Deegan.
Climb flight level 150, will report 5 DME at Deegan, Firefly 807.
You're doing great, lads. You're doing great. This is tricky here.
Shannon Control, Firefly 702, passing altitude of 9,000, flight level 9,000 for Peleg 6 Alpha departure.
Firefly 702, Roger. What was your filed altitude for cruise?
I believe it was flight level 120.
Roger. Firefly 702, climb now, flight level 120, report 5 DME, Deegan.
Flight level 120 and report 5 DME for Deagle, Firefly 702.
Great.
Shannon Control, Firefly 306 at 2 DME Deegan, 16,000.
Firefly 306, Roger. Cleared for the ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60. Report overhead Ulset.
Clear for ILS, descend 6, flight level 060, report Ulset, Firefly 306.
Cool.
Firefly 007, request descent.
Firefly 305 overhead, Ulsit, flight level 60.
Firefly 007, descend now, flight level 60, cleared ILS approach, runway 06, report overhead Ulsit.
Descending for 6,000, cleared for ILS 06 will report when over Ulsit. Currently 15 miles from Deegan. Firefly 007.
Roger, break. Firefly 305, continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet, contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when fully established on the localizer.
Continue descend to altitude 3,000 feet, contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 305.
Are you doing good, lads? Still a little bit
Shannon
tight
Control
here.
Firefly 602 is at Ulsit at flight level 088.
Firefly 602, roger, continue approach. Descend altitude 3,000 feet, contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Down to 3,000 and 118.71 established on the localizer for Firefly 602.
Now, this is possible they'll get a go around, but we'll say nothing.
Shannon Control, Firefly 508, passing altitude 3800 for flight level 90, Peleg 6 Alpha, departure.
Firefly 508, Shannon Control, good evening. Identified, maintain flight level 90, and contact me when 5 miles Deegan.
Climb flight level 90, will report 5 DME at Deegan, Firefly 508.
Perfecto. Alright, so Dougal is almost on his... Dougal's nearly on the localizer, I'd say. These guys are close, but I reckon they're okay. I reckon.
Firefly 206, overhead, Deegan, flight level 115.
Firefly 007, roger, cleared ILS approach runway 06, descend flight level 60, report when overhead Ulsit. Wait, was that right? Balls. Where is he? I think I got that totally wrong.
Can you confirm this was for Firefly 206? Already overhead Ulsit.
You passed the test. At Firefly 206, continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet, reduce speed to final approach speed, contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the ILS.
Continue descent, flight 3,000 feet and cleared for ILS approach. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when fully established on ILS. Firefly 206.
Do you ever see that scene in Airplane when your man unplugs the...
And reduce speed to approach speed. Firefly 206.
It's just to slow him down a little bit. Jesus, that was hilarious. Yeah, I need to call myself. Murphy, call yourself there, will you? Hello, me? I have a number for you to call. Hello? Jesus. Right, we're doing well, lads. You're doing well. You're doing great. Right, where are we at now? They're duplicates, right? Okay.
Shannon Control 55306 over Ulsit at flight level 120.
What are you doing at 120? Firefly 306, descend altitude 3,000 feet, continue approach on the ILS. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the ILS.
Descent 3000, contact Tower 118.7 when established, 55306.
Okay. 306.
Firefly 508, my sim has crashed.
Oh, 508. Firefly 508, no bother. If you want to get yourself back into action, give me a shout back when you're near Peleg, if you want to try that.
We'll try that.
Right. Jesus, Shannon's going to have a job now trying to get everyone in, look. Although we won't really. So there's Firefly 112. Here's 305. 602 is doing all right. 206, yeah, they're fairly well spaced. Fairly well spaced. Right, release this guy as well. So Firefly 007 is going to be my next one. And so here we go. Hey, Wombat, good to see you, man. What an evil plan, right? Thank you, Navnak. Yeah, it's a night of kind of training and just, you know, brushing up on the skills that we've learned. And it's a chance for everyone to practice what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? But like, you're getting to see it from the controller perspective. So hopefully what you'll take from all of this is understanding why the controllers do what they do. You need to kind of get an idea of, oh, Jesus, well, that's why I need to report, or, you know, this is why I need to descend to that altitude or follow this heading. Do you know what I mean? It's just to kind of bridge the gap there.
Firefly 007 approaching Ulsat is at 15,000, flight level 150 for 6,000 feet.
Firefly 007, roger. Continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach, descend 3,000, tower on 118.7. Will contact tower when established. Firefly 007.
Sweet. Okay, so we have 2 more inbound, and we should be getting a few more up and going. There's 507. Don't need him yet. So what's 507 doing? No, we're getting through it. We're getting through it. Ashley's getting a kick in the arse from, like, mods. Well done, Ashley. Way to get a kick in the arse from a mod. Jesus. Right, how are we now? So Shannon, right? Let's look at his scope for a minute. Here they go. Inbound. Inbound. Yes. These guys are a little bit close, but I think doable. It looks far worse than what it is. Brilliant. How are we getting on? Is it all working? Mod rule. Yeah, quite the hammer. Muse's hammer. Jesus. Is there a more finer hammer, lads? Jesus. Right. This is Shannon ground. Let's have a look. So they're all, there's a wild Muse fan up there, look.
Shannon Control Firefly 507, 2,800 feet, climbing flight level 90 on the Belly 6 Alpha departure to Shannon.
Firefly 507, Shannon Control, good evening. Climb flight level 120, report 5 DME, Deegan.
Climb to flight level 120 and will report 5 DME from Shannon. Firefly 507.
That's the Group B lads now on the way. Brilliant. Jesus, look.
Firefly 807. Apologies, 2 away from DME at Deegan.
Ooh, 807. 807, that's okay. Firefly 807, roger. You are cleared ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60 and contact me overhead Ulsit.
Firefly 807. Contact went over at Ulsid at 60 feet.
It'll do, it'll do. Now 702.
Firefly 702 at Deegan, flight level 120.
Firefly 702, roger. Can you advise your current airspeed?
Current airspeed is 335.
Firefly 702, roger. Reduce speed now 200 knots. Descend altitude 5,000 feet. and report when overhead ulset.
Descend to 5,000 feet, reduce speed to 200, and report when over ulset.
Actually, that's just not going to happen. Firefly 702, cancel that. Turn right heading now, 360 degrees. Maintain altitude 120, flight level 120. Flight level 120? Man, Murph. You're going too fast, kid.
Heading 360 and maintain altitude of flight level 120. Firefly 702.
Roger. Also, Firefly 702, if you can, reduce speed 200 knots. Call me back when at 200 knots.
Reduce speed to 200 knots and report back. Firefly 702.
Right, so I've told him to turn right. Get out of there. He's higher, which is grand. 807 is below him. But I need him to turn right 360 degrees. He should start doing that now. We hope. And Firefly 702, just to confirm, turn right heading 360 degrees.
Turning right 360 degrees, Firefly 702.
That was fun. Jeez, the speed of him. Okay. Right, 807 is okay. He's continuing on. Now this would be interesting. What's he in? 702 is in what? He's in a 737. Okay. So we're going to give him a direct. Captain Gaiman is here. It's good to see you, man. How's she cutting? We're having a ball. We're having a ball. I'm learning as well. Oh wait, Jesus, the landings. Dougal got down, did he? Ah, brilliant. Dougal. Brilliant. There he is, lads. Dougal has arrived at Shannon. Our first arrival has happened. Brilliant. Right? Brilliant crack. Now, where was the other fella? Where did he go? There he goes. Look, Jesus, the speed. The speed. Right. Well, he's gone off up the road now for a minute or two until we have a bit of clearance. Right? Now, where are we at? You have your captain's check right this week, Captain Gaiman. No way. Oh, Jesus, these are close. Oh, Neil is going to get a go around. You're too close to him, man. You're way too close. That's just not going to happen. That's like far too close. Oh, Jesus. I have a terrible feeling we're going to get a go around here. Just a shocking, terrible feeling about it. Do you know what I mean? What do you think, lads? It's not Centre's fault. Get out with that garden, will you? He's going around, look. Missed approach. He's out of there. Lads, you'd see how important spacing is, right? It's just vital. So I brought him down to his final approach speed twice.
Firefly 508, back online on the Peleg 6 Alpha departure.
Firefly 508, welcome back. Maintain altitude, flight level 9 and contact me 5 DME from Deegan.
Climb flight level 90, will report 5 DME at Deegan. Firefly 508.
Firefly 702, Shannon Control.
Firefly 702, standing by.
Firefly 702, turn left, direct ulset, descend flight level 60, and report when overhead ulset.
Turn left, direct to ulset. Descend to flight level 60 and report when over ulset.
That's it. Sweet. Hey, Primo Victoria. Good to see you. Right. So we have a go around. Who's the devil going around? This guy. 305. So I have a terrible feeling I'm going to be getting him now again. So he's going to, 305 is going to have to talk to me again. So we'll need to space him in. So if he's going to Degan, we'll bring him back in for another turn. We just need to be careful now of Firefly 702. He's in.
Firefly 807 overhead, also at flight level 70.
Firefly 807, continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach, descend to altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7, Firefly 807.
Yeah, brilliant. So we're waiting on Firefly 305 to give us a shout. We hope. What's his speed? Hang on, where is he going? No. He's doing the published. Is he doing the published freaking go around? Lord, the butter. Beautiful landing. Beautiful. What's the spacing like? Muse, go fierce handy. Get the brakes out. Fred is down. Is he doing this the standard missed approach? Okay. I mean, that is fine. You can do it if you... No hassle. Should be at 4,000. I can hear the rescue chopper. That's a good sign. Uh-oh. This is going to be another go around. Oh, they're fierce tight. Fierce tight. There's going to be a go around here as well. Lads, keep an eye out for the other aircraft. You know what I mean? If you think they're too close, they probably are. Jesus Muse, you're in trouble here, lad. Get off the runway in your big 787. Oh, Jesus. Around he goes. The runway isn't clear. Martel, around you go. That spacing is shocking. Jesus. Out you get. Don't put it down. Don't put it down. Around you go. So, like, when you're flying, I mean, you have a couple of things to help you to kind of keep an idea, right? You have a couple of things to help you to visualize what's happening. You can use your avionics. Your ADSB is going to show you where the traffic is. You can also, like, turn on nameplates and see where the aircraft are. You need to keep your distance from them. Like, however long it takes for someone to get landed and then vacate the runway, that's the difference of you getting a go around or not. So keep your speed as low as possible. As low as possible. Especially when you're coming in to turn on final. Because everyone else behind you, well, they're going to be doing the same. So I think Port O'Neill went up very high there. He's going to have a job and a half to do. Like, ATC will do what they can with spacing. On VATSIM, they've better control than what we have because, well, it's just easy, right? We don't have the same kind of luxuries as VATSIM in terms of, you know, how functional our scope is. But especially for these lessons, you need to keep massive distance away from one another. You'll see them. You can see the nameplate. Stay back from them. You know?
Shannon Control, good evening. Firefly 006 is going around to flight level, is at flight level 4,000 direct to Deegan.
Who's that? 007 Muse. Fireflies.
Shannon Control, Fireflies 406, passive altitude 8,000 feet for flight level 9,000, Pele 6 Alpha departure.
Firefly 406, stand by. Break. Firefly 007, welcome back. Continue Deegan. Climb to altitude 4,000 feet. And give me a shout when you're at Deegan.
Holding at 4,000, we'll call you back at Deegan, Firefly 006.
Firefly 406, Shannon Control. What's your current altitude? I say 4, was it? Oh, things are going to get fierce messy here.
Firefly 406, altitude 8,100.
Last aircraft calling, say again. Malton, how are
Firefly
you?
406, passing altitude 8,200 feet for flight level 19, Helix 60 Alpha departure.
Shannon Control, Firefly 206, altitude 4,000 feet, inbound Deegan.
Firefly 206, roger. Left turn direct Ulsit, report when overhead.
Left turn, direct Ulsit, report when overhead. Firefly 206.
Firefly 406, roger. Maintain altitude, flight level 9 report 5 DME Deegan.
Shannon Control, Firefly 207, passing 4,800 feet for flight level 90, Peleg 6A departure.
Bum, 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 bum.
IFR Flight 702 overhead Ulsit, flight level 6,000.
Firefly
Flight
702
level 090 will report 5 DME at Deegan. Firefly 406.
Firefly 702, roger. Cleared ILS approach runway 06, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Descend and maintain 3,000. Clear for the ILS approach for runway 6 and will contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Firefly 007, turn left 360 degrees. Firefly 007, Shannon Control. Do.
Shannon Control, go ahead, sorry.
That's okay. Firefly 007, turn left heading 360 degrees.
Left to 360, Firefly 007.
Do. Are we getting there?
Shannon Control, Firefly 207.
Firefly 207, Shannon Control, go ahead.
Firefly 207, passing flight level 85 for flight level 90.
What did he file? Firefly 207, roger, maintain flight level 90 and contact me 5 DME Deegan.
Maintain flight level 90. Contact you when I'm at Deegan. Correction, 5 nautical miles from Deegan.
Firefly 206, overhead Ulsit.
Firefly 206, continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the localizer and keep an eye out for other traffic.
Continue approach and descend altitude 2,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on ILS and Wilco. Firefly 206.
Firefly 305, Shannon Control.
305, go ahead.
305, direct left turn Ulsit, report when overhead.
Direct left turn Ulsit, establish approach to Shannon via Turbo and Elpom.
Negative, Firefly 305, left turn now to Ulsit and just report when overhead.
Report when overhead Ulsit 305.
Firefly 007, turn left heading 270 degrees.
Left to 270, Firefly 007.
Firefly 308 passing 6,500 for flight level 90, Peleg 6 altitude departure.
Firefly 308, roger. Maintain flight level 60 and report 5 DME Deegan.
Shannon Control, Firefly 406, stabilizing 9,000 feet, Deegan departure.
These lads are way too close.
Okay, Firefly 308 will report at 5 DME at Deegan, Firefly 308.
207, what are you? Firefly
Shannon
20,
Control.
Firefly 207, Shannon Control. Do. Firefly 207, Shannon Control.
Firefly 207.
207, aircraft type.
Diamond DA62. Firefly 207.
Roger. Firefly 308, right turn 290 degrees.
Right turn 290 degrees of Firefly 308.
Now, what was
Shannon
605?
Control, Firefly 507 at 2 nautical miles from Deegan.
Yeah, a little bit early, lads. Firefly 507, roger. Cleared ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60. Report overhead Ulset.
Descend and maintain flight level 60. Cleared for the ILS approach, runway 06. And report when overhead Ulset. Firefly 507.
Interesting. This is great, Craig.
Firefly 605, passing altitude 4,800 on towards flight level 90 on the Peleg 6A departure.
Firefly 605, Shannon Control, roger. Maintain flight level 60. Report overhead Peleg.
Maintain flight level 60, report overhead Peleg, Firefly 605.
Firefly 308, turn left heading 270 degrees.
Turn left heading 270 for Firefly 308.
This is great gas, lads. Great gas. So Muse is on 270. Let's see how we go for space in here with this. So probably go a bit higher to overtake. Yeah, we'll spin around to the right a little bit. El Piloto. Your 787 caused 2 go-arounds. Alright, what can you do? Again, lads, the whole point of this is to give you the opportunity to learn in a very safe environment. It's okay if you make a mistake. No one's going to shout at you. You know what I mean? You have to realise, look, things are done a very particular way. And the reason for that, and hopefully this gives you a good idea. For instance, if you're trying to land on the runway, and if Tower gives you clearance, but there's someone on the runway, you're the pilot in command. You got to go around. It's up to you to call it. You know what I mean? You needed 5 miles in trail for wake turbulence and the rest of it. Oh, Corn Wolf is down. Jesus. But it's all, you can see how important the spacing is. And, you know, it goes for the ground and it goes in the air as well. Keeping spacing between different aircraft is so important. Like, you've no idea. I was on VATSIM last night and I was on Unicom because
Firefly 305 is overhead Ulset at flight level 040.
Firefly 305, roger. Continue approach. Number 3. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower when established on the ILS. Frequency 118.7.
Contact Shannon Tower on frequency 118.7. Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Call tower when established on ILS.
Perfect.
Firefly 508, 5 DME at Deacon.
Firefly 508, cleared ILS approach, runway 06, descend flight level 60, report overhead ulset.
Cleared for the ILS approach, descend flight level 60, will report at ulset, Firefly 508.
Like, I was on VATSIM last night and I was on Unicom because I was outside of the tower frequency, right? And I knew where I was going. I was on Unicom explaining where I was going, and there was a Ryanair not listening to me at all. I mean, he's flying up and along. So what he had done, he was tuned to the Dublin Tower frequency, thinking all is grand. I'll just talk to him when I get up there, not realizing you're on Unicom until you get there.
5 DME, 5.406, 5 DME at Deacon.
You're a little bit further than 5 DME, but that's okay. Firefly 406, roger. Cleared ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60. Report when overhead ulset. We're getting there. How's the LVO looking? Don't worry, Muse, I'm not forgetting you. So Cornwolf is in.
Fireflies 406, cleared for the ILS approach, descend flight level 60, report at ulset.
Okay, Mike is a little bit dodge. Also, lads, as a reminder, when you're given a frequency to change frequency, read back that frequency. It's important. So Shannon Tower 118.7. Always read back the frequency. I didn't cop if I missed it, but just be aware of that, yeah? Right, so we have Muse and we have 507. Firefly 007, left turn 210 degrees.
210 degrees, left turn, Firefly 007.
Poor old Muse is getting a terrible time of it. Have I forgotten everyone? Who did I... Is there someone missing? 20... These are all inbound. No, we're grand. It's just Muse out there having the crack. Do you plan to do USA Ops? Yes. Yes, we do. And then old veteran will have a proper laugh at me. Right. Firefly 308 still on heading. Now that's okay. I'm watching him. He's going to get another turn now in a moment. But there's no one going the wrong direction.
Shannon Control Firefly 507, overhead ulset.
Firefly 507, roger. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the ILS.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Contact tower on 118.7 when established on the ILS. Firefly 507.
Firefly 308, Shannon Control.
Shannon Control, Firefly 308.
Firefly 308, left direct DGAN, report 5 DME.
Direct DGAN, report 5 DME, Firefly 308.
You should be alright-ish, kind of sort of nearly. Rambog says, all done, everyone off Dublin ground. Excellent, well done, Rambog, and well done, everyone. So everyone has now left Dublin ground. Fantastic work, lads. How are we going for time? Brilliant. Like, you know, as this goes on, you're going to see, you're like, things will start happening a little bit faster. But like the whole point of this, it may not be the most entertaining to watch. I get that, but from a learning perspective, this is a great environment to learn. And, you know, you're going to hear different controllers. You're going to hear different accents. You need to move around different communications with the Discord. Like, it might be painful. It might be like pulling teeth, but I can promise you, this is so beneficial. It's so beneficial. Do you know what I mean? It's you're doing something like this, you now have something to draw on to say, Jesus, I remember when we did that. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
Shannon Control, FFA 202, a Beechcraft Bonanza, passing 3,200 feet for flight level 90 on the Peli 6A departure.
Firefly 202, Shannon Control, good evening. Maintain flight level 90, report 5 DME Deegan.
Shannon Control, climb flight level 90, will report 5 DME at Deegan, FFA 202.
This is going to be interesting. What are you doing, Murph? It'll be grand. It'll be totally fine. Now, what's 308 in? He's in a C25 and 207 is in a diamond. So I'm expecting him to be a little bit faster.
Shannon Control, Firefly 303, passing 3,300 feet for flight level 090.
In a 414. Firefly 303, good evening, Shannon Control. Roger. Maintain flight level 90. Report 5 DME Deegan.
Fly maintain flight level 090 and report 5 DME Deegan. Firefly 303.
Firefly 308, Shannon Control. Firefly 308, Shannon Control.
Firefly 308, sorry.
What's your indicated airspeed?
Indicated airspeed is 213.
Roger. Break Firefly 207, Shannon Control.
Firefly 207, Shannon Control.
Current airspeed?
165 knots, ISA.
Roger, thanks. I reckon they're grand,
Firefly
lads.
508, overhead Ulset, flight level 60.
Firefly 508, Roger. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer for the ILS.
Continue approach, descend to altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower 110.700, flight Firefly 508.
And Firefly 508, just to confirm, Shannon Tower frequency 118.7.
Well, go.
Firefly 605 is overhead waypoint Peleg.
Firefly 605, Roger. Report 5 DME Deegan.
We'll report 5 DME Deegan. Firefly 605.
We'll just about get him in ahead of him, I'd say. This will be
Firefly
fun.
007, reporting that we're low on fuel.
Jesus. Jesus. Firefly 007, Roger. Turn left heading 180 degrees. Reduce speed. Final approach speed, please.
Left to 180 and reduce to final approach speed. Firefly 007.
Muse, I have to be careful here because if I don't get you in behind this fella, you're gone around again. You know what I mean? I had a similar situation near Colombo. ATC went offline just because he couldn't handle it. Oh, really? I've heard of that. I can't give him final yet. There's too much traffic there. So you have 507. Once 507 turns left onto LPOM, I can clear Muse in. And then you can talk to the other guy. Giving him 1.8 keeps him out of the loop just for a little bit more. We'll see how we go. But again, this is new to me as well, lads. I mean, little trick here now with 308 and 207. You know what I mean? This is with the Jesus now. I can maybe help him on. Firefly 308.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Firefly 308.
Turn right, direct Ulset, descend altitude 3,000 feet and report overhead Ulset.
Direct Ulsit 3,000 feet and report overhead to Ulsit 55308.
Air Nav will be on to you, Murph. Totally fine, right? Corn Wolf, great to see you. Tamir UK, thank you for the follow, dude. Good to see you. Right, this is going to be hilarious. Now, Muse, we're slowing Muse down. I reckon there's almost enough space here. It looks a lot worse than what it is, right? It's going to work, but Muse is in something fast, and I have slow-moving aircraft inbound, so it ain't easy, this. It ain't easy. No, Muse, you're doing a great job.
Shannon Control, Fire 5505 at flight level 050, climbing to flight level 090, en route to Shannon via the Peleg Alpha departure 5505.
He's in an ATR, is he? Jesus. Firefly 505, Shannon Control, good evening. Roger. Maintain flight level 90, report 5 miles, Deegan.
Maintain flight level 090, Fire 5505.
Now he's going to be moving fairly lively. He's going to create a problem here now in a second. Jesus. He's in something kind of fast. Right, this will be something else. Firefly 505, cancel that. Want you to turn right heading 270 degrees.
Say again, please, Firefly 4505.
Firefly 505, turn to 270 degrees.
Turn to 270 degrees, Firefly 505.
And we'll get him back in here in a moment. Right, my little trick here worked very well.
Hello there.
Firefly 007.
Firefly 007, go ahead.
007, turn left, direct LPOM, and continue approach. Caution, traffic ahead is a TBM. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer, and you are cleared to descend altitude 3,000 feet.
Direct to Alpon, descend to 3,000, and we'll keep an eye out for the TBM. Tower on 118.7, Firefly 007.
And mind your fuel there, will you? Next time, bring more. Right, it's going well-ish, sorta. How we go now? 308 is coming in grand. What's the oh jeez, I don't assume. What was he in again? 308? He's in something fast, isn't he? 525.
06, flight level 60.
Firefly 406, roger, continue approach. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach, descend to altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7, Firefly 406.
This is going to be interesting.
Firefly 207, Shannon Control, 5 nautical miles, Deegan.
Firefly 207, roger, you are cleared for the ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60 and report overhead Ulsit.
Cleared for ILS runway 06. Report overhead Ulsit at 6,000 at flight level 060.
Right, so 505, he can ramble on up that way.
505 at flight level 090, maintain heading 270.
Firefly 505, roger. Keep going. 207, 308. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a conflict here. This is going to be brilliant. Ah, Jesus, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Firefly 508, Shannon Control. He's not on my frequency. Firefly 508, Shannon Control. This is going to be interesting. The Muse can see him, but like it's all about taking your time. Muse, put on the old anchor there. You switched him to tower. He was to talk to tower only when established. You know what I mean? No, he should be not. He shouldn't be switched yet. You contact tower when established. You're not established yet. Not a hope. You'll be all right. It'll be close though. Jesus. There's a reason why I don't do this in the real world. Yeah, this is going to be close now, lads. Did you ever see that, you know, seconds from disaster? Firefly 508, Shannon Control. He's not talking to anyone. Anyone. So he's on 118.7. Muse is too. So lads, what's the lesson here? Do not transfer frequency until you're supposed to. So the instruction is contact Shannon Tower when established on the ILS. You ain't like ASGON is where you get established. You know what I mean? 3, 4, and 3. There's a couple of 100 feet in between them, but like this is going to look hilarious. Muse is like, Jesus, there's a vision jet out my window. Hang on, we'll zoom over to it and see what we can see. Tower's problem now. He hasn't the fuel to go around again. He'd be grand. To be fair, right? Like, he got ahead of him. Good stuff, Muse. Like, where the worry is, when you change your frequency, or worse, don't change frequency. Like that, you can see now exactly what can happen, right? So both pilots actually changed the frequency before they were supposed to. Do you know what I mean? Now Muse is ahead of him, but like, there's less than 1,000 feet separation. There's about 300 feet. Now, granted, Muse is well ahead, but like that's way too close. You know what I mean? Man, give up. Jesus. But this is good for us to see. We can see the importance, and if anything, hopefully the valuable lesson is do not change your frequency until you're supposed to. Because you can see what can happen, right? At this stage, if this was VATSIM, you'd be getting a direct message. You know? Yeah, lead ballooner can slow right all the way back. I mean, that's what I was going to do. I was going to slow him down and let Muse in. They figured it out between them. But we can't talk to him.
Firefly 605, 5 miles DME, digging.
Firefly 605, roger. You are cleared for the ILS approach for runway 06. Descend flight level 60 or maintain 60 and report when overhead ULSIT.
Maintain flight level 60, report when overhead ULSIT, Firefly 605.
Yeah, I had a feeling 505 is going to be a little bit faster. We're all right though. Keep going the way you're going. All is looking well. All right, so Muse is gone. And 508 is gone. And then the rest should be just lining up and going in. So Shannon Tower is going to have to deal with this. He can see the separation, right? Good man, Colonel Fork. He's there in the chopper to mind us. Brilliant. Let's have a listen to Shannon Tower, will we? Briefly. This is what could happen on VATSIM in the real world. And all stations, this is Shannon Control. Stepping out for 1 minute. I'll be back in 1 minute. You'll hear that a lot on VATSIM.
End of choice, good evening.
Let's have a listen.
Delta 2, Delta 1, parking at my leisure, and good evening to you as well. Firefly 507.
Firefly 007, surface wind 360 degrees 4 knots, runway 06, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 06, Firefly 007.
Firefly 508, expect late landing clearance.
We'll go.
So there's Tower talking to both aircraft. You know, get the speed right down. Now, lead ballooner needs to bring his speed way back. He's going to get a go around. I can see, like, straight away we can see him. You know what I mean? Eamon, yes, 100% they would. They 100% would. Colonel Fork. He's like a vulture. He's just waiting for someone to... You're mine. That's brilliant. I love it. Okay, this is looking better now. Lead ballooner on the speed brakes. He's slowing right down. Look at that. So Tower has already warned him, you're going to get a late clearance. Expect a late landing clearance. And Muse fan is... Well, he's going to help out as best he can. He's clear to land. He'll butter the runway and then he'll get off it as quickly as possible. The challenge here is for Muse to clear the runway before Lead Ballooner comes in. But you can see the spacing, how well it's after happening now. This is all completely corrected itself. So yeah, so Muse has probably increased the speed a bit. And Lead Ballooner is going to decrease the speed. But lads, this is just brilliant. Considering how well you are doing, like, I mean, this is as close as you're going to get to a live VATSIM experience in terms of the communication part of it. Don't worry if one or two things went astray, and you know, the genius controlling that I'm trying to do, which isn't terribly genius at all. How are we getting on here now? Look, these lads are getting a little bit closer for comfort. What's 202 in? Bonanza. What's 303 in? A 414. So there's a difference. You can see the difference of speed here, yeah? So they need to maintain a fair bit of separation. Did 308 give us a shout? And 406? I think, yeah, we cleared 406. He's gone. 308. Did we clear him? Did he report over Ulset? I can't remember now. Engel says, oh yeah, Jesus. All stations, Shannon Control active?
Firefly 308 passed Ulset already at 3,000 feet inbound Terru to Shannon.
Firefly 308, Roger, continue approach, contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach, contact Shannon Tower 118.7 and will report when established on the localizer. Firefly 308.
And I was going to go for the pint and everything. Jesus, lads, I forgot to go back into the thing. Anyway, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right, lads. Don't worry about it. Oh, Jesus. It was at that moment Murphy knew he messed up. Best turn tower control, right? Give it to the cat. Come here, cat. You're in charge. Meow. Right, now, how are we looking? So we're expecting 207 to give me a shout. 605 to give me a shout. These are interesting. This is interesting.
Firefly 207 overhead Ulset.
Firefly 207, Roger, continue approach. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach. Descend to altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7. Firefly 207.
I'm trying to get the spacing of these three, which is not ideal at all. But we're getting there.
406. I'm not quite sure how to get the localizer over.
406. Firefly 406, Roger, contact Shannon Tower now, 118.6, and request vectors for final.
Firefly 406. Copy.
This is going to be interesting. 406 needs to... Who is 406? And 406 jump into the Shannon Tower frequency. He has, Grant. He has. Right. So if you don't know how to do... If you don't know an ILS, if you don't know how to get yourself onto the ILS, that's what we kind of need just to learn. If anyone's stuck, if you want to practice doing ILS stuff, or if you want to practice doing some IFR flying, well, let us know and we'll plan some sessions. But when it comes to ATC, you need to have a better understanding of knowing how your aircraft flies, staying in control of it, because that's the biggest thing that throws us off, right? ATC might ask us to do something and we're like, what the hell is that? How do you do that? And that's when it becomes nerve-wracking and you start getting, you know, a little bit hot under the collar and it's all, do you know what I mean? So there's no issue. He's a little bit high. In fact, he's climbing. He shouldn't be. He needs to be descending. Tower is going to try and get him in. You know, I need vectors for final. That's just not going to go well. He ain't getting down from that altitude, so he's going to have to go around. So he's probably after telling him to go around, right? 508 came down.
505. Can I resume navigation to inbound to Degan?
No, not yet. I know exactly where you are, though. Firefly 505, negative, maintain current heading. I'll be turning it in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Maintain current heading, contact 3 or 4 minutes, Firefly 505.
And there's a reason for that. If I turn him even now, he's going to catch one of these guys. And these two lads are way too close. So what's going to happen here, one of these lads are going to get turned somewhere else as well. You know what I mean? So like that's an ATR. That's kind of borderline kind of group A. Because that thing will bob along at about 240 knots. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a little bit on the faster side. We can probably get him into Gorto, but I don't want to turn him too early because these lads have a bit of jiggery pokery to do. Do you know what I mean? 605 is going to be next. Now 406 we have an issue with because he's going around. And he's no longer with me, so he'll have to come back to me now. Late Group A. That's okay. If in doubt, blame the controller. Correct. Always blame the controller. But no, it's okay. Like, I can see him. I'm not forgetting him. I will turn him. But there's no point me turning him.
Firefly 605 overhead Allsit at flight level 60.
Firefly 605, roger. Continue approach. Descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach, descend to 3000, contact tower at 118.7 when on the localizer. Firefly 605.
Sweet! So there's 3 inbounds. Does it go around here from 406? Need to be careful here.
Shannon Control, FFA 202, 5 DME at D-Gun.
Hello there.
Firefly 202, roger. Cleared ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60 and report when overhead Ulsit.
FFA 202, cleared for ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60. Will report overhead at Ulsit. FFA 202.
Firefly 303, Shannon Control.
Firefly 303, pass a message.
Firefly 303, turn right, heading 310 degrees.
Turn right, heading 310 degrees. Firefly 303.
Firefly 505, Shannon Control.
55505.
Firefly 505, turn left, heading 180 degrees.
Turn left, heading 180. Firefly 505.
This should be interesting.
Firefly 406, Shannon Tower.
Firefly 406, Shannon Control, pass your message.
Fireflies 406, doing a missed approach, climb to 4,000 to Degan.
Firefly 406, roger. Left turn now, 290. Turn left, 290.
Flight 0, confirm, turn left for 290.
Okay, so we're going to have to get this guy in on the visual, so let's see what we can do. But this needs to be fairly sharpish to squeeze him in. Do you know what I mean? We're nearly there, lads. You're doing brilliant. In real life, would a sky be this busy, or do you get to say an ATC per aircraft or a ratio? So Hummingbird, usually a controller could handle up to, I know in Ireland, they could hold up to 15 to 20 aircraft. Like, it's very, very busy. Englewood says, let's do this exercise again with 30 crossing it. I'd love to. 406 is the TBM. They are faster than it should be, but just got to be careful. That's, So he's doing all right now. We're going to have to vector him in all the way. All the way we'll have to vector him in. Better talk to Shannon Tower. 1 second out. Shannon Tower, this is Shannon Control. Firefly 406 will require some vectoring, so I'll hand him over to you when he's at Asgon.
Roger.
Shannon Control, Firefly 406 on direction 342.
Firefly 406, negative. Should be left turn to 290. Don't worry, I want you to turn now 270. Turn left 270. Brake. Firefly 303, turn left 270.
Turn left heading 270. Firefly 303.
Firefly 505, turn left heading 160.
Turn left heading 160, Firefly 505.
Turning left 270, Firefly 406.
Right, let's see what's going to happen here. Do. What's that, Prime? You wouldn't report a DME in that case. X mile inbound fix would be correct if instructed to report a specified distance from a fix. What do you mean, Prime? So you can get them to report 5 DME from a waypoint? Because it's a like a center,
Control, yeah? Firefly to 406, heading 270.
That was close to them, lads. Firefly 406, Roger, continue on this heading, 270. Do not deviate. I will call you back.
Firefly 406, confirm.
It's slowly but surely getting there. Firefly 406, left turn 250 degrees.
Fireflies 406, left turn 250 degrees.
Okay, the spacing down here is excellent. We're a little bit tight up here, but we should be okay. And then it's a balancing act between these two guys here. Let's see what happens. Initial fix doesn't have a DME, so you could just call out distance to the fix. Unless the fix is also VOR DME, then 5 DME would be correct, but generally only used for final approach on a radio approach. So your initial fix on your on the star, your initial fix is Deegan. That's where your initial approach fix is, right? So what I'm doing, I want them to call me before they get there, because chances are they're not going to get cleared for the ILS straight away. Some of them have been, but some of them haven't. So if they're giving a call, or if they're going to call you a couple of miles out, it just gives me scope to move them kind of, north or south if I have to. That'd be the idea. Now, this would be interesting. So he should be on a heading now of 250, which is about right. And he's going to come in after this guy here. Kurt Ferguson, good to see you. I witnessed the eclipse live. It was awesome. Nice, man. Yeah, in Ireland, we just don't have the weather for that. You can't see a shagging thing. Oh, woe is us. Woe is us. Report 5 miles east of Deegan. Well, you can just say from. We know where you're heading from. Do you know what I mean? Prime, are you referring to ICAO or FAA? Since fixed are GPS positions and not radio beacons. Englewood got 130. Nice. Firefly 505, turn right, direct Ulset. You are cleared for the ILS approach for runway 06 and descend flight level 60.
Turn left, descend flight level 60, report when established on. No, say again, please, when to report.
Firefly 505, turn left, direct Ulset, descend flight level 60, and report when overhead Ulset.
Turn left.
So you're going around this way. Ulset.
I can't hear the direct to destination.
Okay, the waypoint. Yeah, check your chart. Waypoint is Ulset. Doodly-doo-doo-doo. It's okay, 505. I'll vector you in. Turn left heading 090.
Turn left heading 090. Firefly 505.
Firefly 303, left turn 180 degrees.
Left turn 180 degrees, Firefly 303.
We're almost there. How are we looking back at base? Oh, there goes Noel, look. So there's our DA62 inbound. Looking good, looking good. Really, really good flying here. Like, you can see the crack when it comes to being a little bit close to folks. But apart from that, you're doing a great job. You really, really are. There's Sterling. Nicely done, Noel. Jesus, he'll probably get off at Alpha, look. Brilliant. Right, let's keep sending them in. And doop. He's heading that way. He's at Ulset. Firefly 303 is in a 414. What's your speed? Firefly 303, just report your current airspeed.
Indicated airspeed of 170 knots. Ground speed 200 knots. Firefly 303.
Thank you. Firefly 303. Reduce speed now 130 knots. Direct Ulset.
Reduce speed to 130 knots and direct Ulset. Firefly 303.
Firefly 505. Left turn 360 degrees.
Left turn 60 degrees, Firefly 505.
Just confirm is 360 degrees.
What's the degree?
360 degrees, turning north.
360. Me. Sorry, this 360.
That's it. Firefly 406, turn left heading 180 degrees. He's in a 414, he's grand. 120 knots, perfect. Firefly 406, Shannon Control.
Firefly 406.
Firefly 406, turn left 180 degrees.
Firefly 406, turning 180.
So left turn 180. Also, Firefly 406, what's your current altitude? I think it's 4. Doodly-doo. Doodly-doo. That's a little bit better. And Firefly 505, you can turn left, direct Deegan, if able.
Turn direct to Deacon 55505.
Fireflies 406, altitude at 4,000.
Thank you. Firefly 406, descend altitude 3,000 feet.
Fireflies 406, descend 3,000 feet.
So he's on 180.
Shannon Tower. FFA 202, past Ulset, flight level 60.
Firefly 202, Shannon Control, Roger. Continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continuing approach,
Fireflies
descend to
406,
altitude.
repeat.
Don't talk over each other. Firefly 406, turn left heading 090.
Fireflies 406, turning left 90.
Mickey's big hand is pointing straight up. Who's? What? No, the 414 is grand. We need to get this guy turned, that's all. You need to turn left. There we go. Firefly 406. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7.
Fireflies 406, contacting Shannon Tower 118.7 or 6.
Right. The hope is he's flying in the general direction and he can do a visual approach. That's the hope anyway. So he's heading in that way. Let's have a look at the sim. There's Sterling coming in with his 414. Oh. Huge progress. It really is. It really is. Like the biggest, I suppose, the biggest challenges some people might be having is not necessarily knowing the aircraft, as in they can't get the aircraft to do what they want to do. But when it comes to the voice communication, it's been very, very, very good. Nicely done, Sterling. Right, let's have a gawk out here, because he is a country mile out. Do. Now, see the way you have an altitude change? So he was told descend to 3,000 feet. He's probably okay with that. Yeah, he's pretty much at that altitude. Right, so he's a bit of a jog to get in there, considering that there's two aircraft on his left-hand side. So we'll see how the spacing is going to come in here now. But like effectively, he
Shannon
needs
Control 55303, requesting descent.
Firefly 303, Roger, you're cleared on the ILS for 06, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Cleared for the ILS approach, descend flight level 3,000 feet and establish on the localizer. Contact 118.0.7 Firefly 303.
Oh man. Firefly 505, you are cleared for the ILS approach, runway 06. Descend flight level 60 and report overhead Ulset.
Cleared for the ILS approach 106, runway 06. Descend flight level 060 and report when reaching, when overhead. What was a waypoint.
So if you have a look at
505.
if you have a look at the stream right now, I'll show you. So when you're at Deegan, your next waypoint on the approach is Ulsit, Uniform Lima, Sierra, India, Tango. That's your next waypoint to report.
Okay, report when overhead Ulsit.
There you go.
55505.
Here's another thing, because it depends if you're familiar with the airspace or not. And if you're flying in a region and if English isn't the main language, right? Because it can happen, right? I mean, if I'm flying in Italy and, you know, a controller goes, report over, I don't know, something in Italian, that's way difficult for me to understand, right? So I'm saying Ulsit, and you're probably saying, what the Murphs, well, right? So if you're in bother, can you say again slowly? Can you recall that call sign? I can't understand you. What are you trying to say? So if you get the phonetic alphabet of it, you should be fairly good. Yeah? You should be fairly good. Now, my little trick before 06 worked. I just hope he's going to get in now. He's still shocking high. Jesus. But at least he's kind of half facing the runway. Where's Kazaki? There he is. Right, he needs to start descending now because this is going to be like an ouchie landing. You know what I mean? The pappies ain't happy, look. It needs to be about down to this level for them to be happy. So he's about 500 feet too high. But descend, you devil! Jesus. Murph said a few times the house to take notes, all right. You have to take notes. You gotta write stuff down, lads. In France, I asked ATC to send the waypoint in text, and he was more than happy to do so. Yeah, 100%. Some procedures are never flown or studied. If you fly from A to B in the sim without VATSIM, let alone you get a procedure to fly that changes your flight plan. Lots of things to learn. So many things. Like, even though people file for a flight plan, if ATC see any sort of conflict, anything at all, they're going to vector you. Your flight plan out the window. And then, you know, they'll tell you to head on somewhere and then go direct. Do you know what I mean? So, like, this is, I won't say this is like the head scratching moment. He's descending now. But when it comes to flying with ATC, you just need to be aware that ATC might ask you to do stuff like this. Conditional clearances. Do you know what I mean? But one thing I can absolutely say with confidence tonight, like absolute, there's one or two very small kind of, we just need to tighten up on the spacing element. That's all, right? And again, to be fair, VATSIM control would have, they've enhanced visibility over what we're doing because, you know, we're using Microsoft multiplayer to give us this information. So pinch of salt, right? What I will say though, the voice procedure, the clarity, and the general behaviour, if you like, of everyone flying so far tonight has been nothing short of brilliant. I mean, and I genuinely mean that. Like, it's been absolutely incredible. Do we have a total count on the number of aircraft tonight? Did we have 20 aircraft flying this? Like, this is kind of where we're at, do you know what I mean? Now, let me see. Is Panther waiting for an altitude clearance? Yeah, I hope he gets down. 406. Like, he's on the way down. Like, he should be all right. He's at brilliant. He's at 800 feet now. This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, look. And then we've two more inbound after him. So there, at this moment in time, there are 4 aircraft coming in. So, with Panther, unable to get the ILS in the aircraft, not able to capture the localizer. You got to learn how to do that. There's no magic wand you can say, right, it's grand, don't worry about it. Like, we're going to get you in. Weather-wise, it's safe to do a visual approach. You know what I mean? But these are the things you need to practice in your own time. Getting used to the aircraft, learning its systems, figuring out, you know, what can this thing do and how do I do it? They're the most important things you can do in your own time. And again, like, during all of this week, lads, the script is there. It remains online. read down through it. Even just sit there, read it, talk it out loud, because you're actually building muscle memory. You're getting used to how kind of different communication flows work. And we're dealing with many different nationalities on the stream tonight. I'm Irish. We've folks from the UK, we've French, Belgian, German, American. Like, there's a good, there's a vast selection of different accents and how we can interpret and how we can speak. This is all excellent experience to be gaining when it comes to a VATSIM flight. And you might be saying, listen, just this is too stressful. This is all, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, don't worry about any of that at all. This is the sort of stuff, it's about building confidence, getting yourself kind of ready to do a VATSIM event. Flying online with ATC, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. And it just takes time to learn it, that's all. It just takes time to learn it. Right, so the two guys have now... Right? So Kozaki... So 202 and 303, the two pings you've just heard, that was them leaving my frequency. So they're monitoring me. They're pretty much established. Now they're going to talk direct to tower. That's what you do, Not at all, Bell Bro. You can catch up during the week. I found the controller the hardest to understand, says Max Lightweight. You found the controller the hardest to understand. Which controller? Swiss Tony, good to see you. What's Swiss Tony saying? Are you giving out? Why are you always on Shannon Tower? Oh wait, why am I always on Shannon Tower? It's to get used to, well, it's for folks to get used to the airspace. Shannon is grand because it's a massive runway, there's decent taxiways, and it tends to be a little bit quieter in VATSIM traffic, so it's a decent place to learn. Shannon, you're always going to get interesting weather. It's not the busiest of airports, but you'll still hear plenty of chatter. You're going to hear, aircraft coming into the FIR. You know what I mean?
Firefly 505 at flight level 060, overhead will sit.
Firefly 505, roger. Continue approach, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower on 118.7 when established on the localizer.
Continue approach, descend to 3,000 feet. Contact Shannon Tower at 118.7. Firefly 505 and establish on fire. Final.
Sweet. So other tonight was the first time we flew out of Dublin, for example. There's lessons coming up that we're going to fly into Dublin, into Cork, and then other airports around the world. It's kind of just like a home base just to get used to things. But yeah, I mean, one of the biggest kind of tips I can give anyone trying to figure out this stuff, pick airports you know. So when a controller asks you to do something, well, you're familiar with the airspace. If they're going to tell you, hey, now see that? He jumped way ahead because he was only to contact tower when he's established. So if I need to talk to 505, well, I'm shagged because he's gone too early. So you need to remember that, yeah? But as I was saying, we'll jump into tower here now and have a listen.
So, Firefly 406, affirm.
So you'll hear tower frequency here now in a moment. But even see all these waypoints? The more you fly in a particular airport or that region, you start picking it all up. You know what I mean? The Irish on the mic, can't remember his name. Oh, me, Max Lightweight. Brilliant. Can I just say one thing, says Dan Murph. Remember, guys, a pen and a piece of paper is your best friend for ATC. Yes. 100%. As Navnak says, for non-native English speakers, it's an extra hurdle to take. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Direct Lapmo, yeah. It used to be Rolex as well. Lapmo and Rolex, The 414 is a good learning plane for this. 2 GTNs, goes where you point it. Not too slow, not too fast. Yep. Pick an aircraft you are most comfortable with. That's the secret. That is the secret. All right, let's have a gawk here. Here comes Kozaki, look. Now, do you know what the gas thing is here, right? And sometimes you might have, you might have a worry talking to VATSIM pilots or VATSIM controllers, right? Love showing ATC off in the PC-12. Yeah. Pretty cool. Kozaki inbound. Look at this. Touchdown. So there's Kozaki, there's Flying Knight, and there is Larger Life. So they're all coming in. So Kozaki probably will get off at Alpha. It's nice and handy.
Firefly 202, vacate Alpha.
There you go. So he's been told vacate the runway at Alpha. Just remember to read back the instructions. It's vitally important. So he's following the instruction, but you have to read it back because remember, ATC can't see it. They don't have this view. You know what I mean?
Firefly 303, surface wind 36 degrees, 4 knots, runway 06, clear to land.
Clear to land, Firefly 303.
Firefly 202, taxi Alpha, stand of choice, good evening.
Firefly Air vacated runway 06 at Alpha. Request taxi to GA parking.
Firefly 202, taxi Alpha to the general aviation parking, good evening.
Shannon Tower, we taxi Alpha, apron, and GA parking.
Now, does anyone recognize
202? Sorry, I couldn't respond. I couldn't reach my button.
No worries.
Good man, Kozaki. Does anyone recognize the controller's voice, by the way? Anyone recognize that controller's voice? Shannon Tower? No? Yeah. So, here's the thing, right? So, tonight we've had Rambog on ground at Dublin, Gibbo on tower at Dublin, this Aegis on control at Shannon, and Adam is looking after Shannon Tower. Now, Adam is a VATSIM controller. Adam controls on VATSIM, and he's very kindly helped us out tonight by providing ATC coverage for Shannon Tower. So for anyone who hasn't yet flown on VATSIM, you've now just been controlled by a VATSIM controller. How mad is that? It's cool, isn't it? So if you ever have the worry, so we know two Adams. We know two Adams. We have Adam the Elder and Adam the Other, right? So we have two Adams. So Adam the Elder, he won't like that, but that's Adam Controls who streams, yeah? Compliments to Adam. Yeah, like it's just awesome. So he very kindly helped us out here tonight. And, you know, for anyone yet to fly on VATSIM, well, you've just now flown with a VATSIM controller. It's mad. It's mad. You have a friendly voice, the familiarization.
Firefly 303, vacate Alpha.
Vacate Alpha, Firefly 303.
Isn't it brilliant? It's absolutely fantastic. So we have one arrival left to do. Jeez, the timing has almost been perfect tonight. We've one arrival left to do. He's in an ATR. This is going to be brilliant.
Shannon Tower, 55303 vacated at Alpha.
Firefly 303, roger, taxi Alpha, stand of choice, good evening.
Taxi Alpha, stand of choice. Thank you very much for the ATC, thanks.
No worries.
Thank you, Hummingbird. Big pats on the back required all around. Absolutely. It's more than cool. I don't have a term for it. There you go, lads. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So we've one last aircraft to come in, and he's done a great job because I had to vector him earlier on. No pressure now, Larger Life. But like, put this down, lads. Like, that's why tonight's lesson is called IFR Flight 1, right? It's called that for a reason, because we're going to need to do a few of these just to get everyone comfortable, refreshed. We'll do a bit of revision and we'll keep at it. The whole point is we're trying to keep at this. And if it's the first time you've ever done this, well, you've done an incredible job, Navnak, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been great. And like the turnout tonight has been brilliant. And again, like the voice procedure has been absolutely spot on. A massive shout out to the controllers as well. Rambog had his hands absolutely full, as did Gibbo, right? Control is kind of grand because I'm only saying, how are you? Do this and talk to me after a while. I'm not worried too much about spacing until they start bunching up after departure. And then Adam is quite busy because, well, he has the headache of getting folks in. He's got to get them in and he's monitoring the runway. And if it all goes terribly wrong, he's to, go missed approach. Well done, everyone. A massive corner turn tonight. Massive thanks to the lads, Gibbo, Rambog and Adam. Even if Murph told me to slow to approach speed 20 miles out and forgot to... I didn't forget you to vector at all. That was all part of the plan, Muse. You passed the test really well. Really, really well. But it's been brilliant. So we're just waiting on one more to come in. He's going to be calling up the tower when he's established. He's very close to being established. Does anyone have any questions so far? Jump into tower to get Adam's thoughts. I'm in the tower. Well, say hello, though. So, Adam, how did that go?
Not too bad. Your spacing was a bit dodgy at the start, but slowly improved.
Listen, that's the first time I ever had to do control, so I'll take kind of dodgy any day of the week.
It's better than the Rio approach controllers sometimes, don't worry.
Rio approach. So for a lot of folks, this was their first time actually talking to a VATSIM controller. How did you think everyone did?
All fairly good. Like, honestly, better than some of them I do on the real VATSIM network sometimes. I've dealt with much worse than I've dealt with. I mean, it's varying levels of skill on VATSIM, obviously, but you're definitely not the worst I've dealt with.
That's great news. That's great news. And we weren't referring to Joshy at all for the spacing. Joshy, I think you and me need a pint just to talk about spacing issues, seemingly. But no, it's been great, and to get that sort of feedback for the guys as well. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. So excellent work. I'll get off the airwaves because I reckon you have an inbound and he wants to talk to you.
No worries.
But absolutely incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. Now, what I might do, as we're yapping here, I might grab Gibbo and Rambog. I'll just grab Gibbo. And I'll grab Rambog. Asher, how are you, lads?
What's going on, dude?
See the way... I don't think I've ever kind of done that to you before. I kind of just picked you up and dragged you into a different voice channel. Jesus.
I feel abuse.
So,
how great was that, though?
Right?
End-to-end controlling and Adam on board. Wow. That was really great.
It was something very different, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the reason I think it's worth explaining, right? The reason why we kept Adam as a surprise to everybody, we didn't introduce him, was... well, to have a reveal at the end that, that was a real life VATSIM controller that we had the privilege of joining us tonight. And he gave up his time. He was happy to take part. He could easily have jumped onto VATSIM, but he wanted to help contribute and help folks learn and get involved. So huge thanks to Adam. And if we can talk to him here, then we can talk to him on VATSIM. So that was the point of keeping it a bit of a surprise for everybody.
Exactly right. And it kind of breaks the mystifying runway thingamajig, but being able to have a chat with a VATSIM controller to get familiar with who's actually there, it's absolutely brilliant. As for the clearances, Rambog, how did you fare out? It's busy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's way busy when everyone wants to go at once, but I think we managed quite well. And taxiing at Dublin, we all know it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, everyone did really great. There was some confusion with the links, but that's everyday life. But yeah, everyone did really great. And we had a bit of a technical glitch. We had to swap you in for ground for a while, but everything got sorted in the end. And just stellar job.
Everyone here uses little math. Just wanted to ask a quick question. The live plane icon is not showing up.
The plane you're using is not showing up.
like the live plane icon as you're flying, it usually show up on the map that you can follow it. But the app allows me to follow myself, but the icon is not showing up. Is there a shortcut button?
I'm not sure. What app is it?
Little nav map.
No, so if you're using Little Nav Map, it should be connected. I think that uses SIM Connect, doesn't it?
Yes, it's all connected and all that, but that's okay. I don't want to take away the time. Thank you for tonight. Have a good day.
Cool. Take care, man. Yeah, so if you're following along with Little Nav Map, you kind of need to have stuff connected and stuff. But yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, sorry, Rambog. So yeah, busy night on clearances, and then Gibbo had the job of spacing them. And what way did you manage that, Gibbo? Like, did you just tell them to wait and then you keep a track of it, or did you tell them, okay, report back at this time?
Yeah, I tried to do my best for spacing in terms of who was taking off, keeping it to roughly 2-3 minutes of a, especially if it's the same aircraft type. So I'd let them know I expect departure clearance in 2 minutes or whatever. So especially if they were lining up and waiting, that they knew what was going on. So yeah, it was roughly 3 minutes in between each aircraft departing Dublin, but I guess they caught up with one another as they got closer to Shannon. I knew to deal with that, so I tried my best, man.
No, I was going to say, because
I blame you.
Blame you. No, the spacing was actually perfect when they left, and it was something I'll take this for tonight because I didn't specify a speed. So what we had, everyone was spaced perfectly on departure, and even for the first couple of minutes, and then we had some aircraft, fly at 220 knots. Someone went to 325. Right, so you're always going to have that difference. Now they're at different altitudes, which is great. But yeah, like that's definitely something I'll take on board when putting a speed restriction on some of these as well. Because some just went fast, some didn't. But that's why Dougal got out on front. But no, it was done really, really well. The spacing I think was absolutely spot on tonight. The clearances were given great. The landing coming in, everything went really, really well. And I think we all agree the effort from everyone who took part has been nothing short of brilliant. The voice procedure, very, very good. Again, we have a couple of small kind of fine-tuning issues to look over. And this is before any of the real complex kind of stuff throws in terms of a hold. So if someone was issued with a hold tonight, that would make the controller's life very easy or easier. That's why they happen. So we will be figuring out how to do holds at some stage. And the missed approach, go arounds, all the sort of jazz. We've looked at it. We might look at it a little bit more and just get into spacings. But I thought everyone did a brilliant job tonight. It was brilliant.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They really did, Murph. I mean, in terms of constructive feedback, the only thing is that I found when they reached me was it is important to read back the frequency change that you're given. So contact Shannon Control, whatever, to read that back, or contact Dublin Tower to read that back rather than just jump over the frequency. It happened a couple of times where I was like, oh, they've gone already. But that's the only, and that's a minor thing, right? And that's the only thing that I can give by way of feedback. So everybody's just come on by leaps and bounds. It's really phenomenal.
It really, really is. And certainly these are the things we'll be taking into the next lesson. Any issues that we think, or any areas that we think just need a small bit of a tweak. There's a few guys getting off the runway after landing, vacating. They went fairly slow on the runway. Like if you're on VATSIM, it's quickly but as safely as possible. You need to get off that runway because you don't know who is behind you. Yeah. So Larger Life had a CTD. Oh dear. But as a pilot, you want to as soon as you land, get off the runway as quickly as possible because other people want to jump out. You know what I mean? So I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having us. Adam, Rambog, anything in closing, Todd?
Or forever hold your peace.
I guess not.
Kivo.
Yeah.
Well, no news is good news. But yeah, listen, the course shall continue. We've more stuff to do. This has been incredible. I think we had I think there was about 20 people flying. Would that be right?
Yeah, close to that. All right, definitely was thereabouts.
Yeah.
I started trying to keep track. I got to 3, and then it got too busy to mark them down.
Did you say 3?
Yep. Then it got too busy.
Brilliant. Awesome stuff. But no, happy days. As I said, it's a huge step taken again now tonight. That's a full flight, start to finish, with you guys on your own. I mean, there was no watch me and I'll show you what to do next. You guys did this on your own. So like, take a bow, lads. This was absolutely brilliant. Not only for our pilots, but for the controllers as well. Awesome stuff. And Adam, you don't usually control, Shannon. Sure you don't? You're talking, but you're muted. We can't hear you. Ah, Jesus.
Oh.
There we go. We have you now.
Yeah, I mainly control Dublin, but Shannon's always nice.
Shannon is always nice. We love Shannon. But right, awesome stuff. Right, lads, I'll leave it there. Thank you very, very much indeed. And awesome work tonight for the controlling.
No worries. Thanks for having us. We'll see you next time.
Awesome stuff. And well,
see you.
Yeah.
So for everyone here on the stream, thank you also very, very much indeed for tuning in. We are halfway through the ATC course, and man alive, like what an achievement tonight has been, starting from start to finish. Next week, something similar, but we're going to be focusing on I suppose, any of the issues we've highlighted tonight, right? So reading back the frequencies, that's important. Spacing, we need to get back into figuring out how our spacing works. We need to get back into a little bit of a hold and a missed approach, and just general kind of airport etiquette. Like, what I'm saying is, yes, no one is going to give out to you or force you to get off the runway. What I'm saying is, when it comes to airport etiquette, if you are going to taxi off the runway at 1 knot and everyone else is doing 12 knots, that's what I mean. At the end of the day, you're in charge of your aircraft. They can't give out to you if you're going too fast or too slow. Well, they might if you're going too fast. But the point I'm making is, if you make a controller's life difficult just because, well, they're going to do the same back to you. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of, I won't say common sense, but certainly etiquette of how we get on, Angry Lou says, so no Mayday calls or emergency fuel calls. No. There is a time and a place for all that sort of stuff. But certainly what we're learning now, this is to build confidence for folks to go off and give VATSIM a shot. Based on what we've seen here tonight, you're just going to jump onto VATSIM straight away. And you're going to have a relatively good time. Just work on the things. Make sure you know your aircraft. Make sure you know how to do IFR flying. Mainly, altitude, speed limits, waypoints, and an ILS. You need to know that stuff. It's important. So, a bit of practice if you can. But that's it for tonight. Thank you very, very much indeed. A massive thanks to the team of controllers. We had Adam, we had Rambog Mord, and we had Gibbo Ireland helping us all out. And to our team of mods as well, looking after us. Thank you very, very much indeed. And to everyone for tuning in, lads. I really, really do appreciate it. And some amazing work done by the pilots there tonight, lads. To everyone who flew, well done. If you had a great experience, it's one for the bag. If you didn't have a great experience, let's work on that. Let's figure out what was difficult, what made the thing uncomfortable. Let's focus on that and see if we can, start working on making things a little bit better. And that's the point. We're trying to, this is grand. This is our way of getting us onto VATSIM. All right. So until the next time, we join you once again on Wednesday, 1900 Zulu time. We have Flight Sim news and some stuff to show off. And then, of course, we have the start of our Bremen flight happening this Friday. We're doing a departure out of Casewood Aerodrome, flying up to Iceland, up to Keflavik, for the first of a 4-part series, flying from Ireland all the way over to Newfoundland. So, until Wednesday, thank you so much for tuning in. See you soon. Dublin. Pascal Sheehy, RTE. Is Pascal Sheehy still doing the news? Oh, there's Gibbo, look! He almost turned it over. Gibbo, you nearly rolled it.
Yeah, baby.
Did you just say that? He nearly rolled the trailer coming in. Hilarious.